Right.
Hey, here we are. Where's their other cohorts?
Yeah, no one ever turns up on time. I'm surprised you was here in time. Normally, everyone turns up late for these. It's like how close, how late can we be?
I was trying to have everything prepped and ready and set up in a new spot and a new layout and things like that. And of course, I didn't grab a proper charger, even though I got stuff out here. So if I need
Oh
to,
well.
I will.
Mark turned up to what was in the box yesterday, and I didn't even see him. He reckons he was sitting there for half an hour before I spotted him.
Did he ever actually show a book? I was in and out. Hey, James. That's
What
James.
yesterday? I showed nothing but books yesterday.
No, him. Did Mark ever end up showing
Oh
books?
no, Mark showed a few. He showed a few Star Wars. That's right. He was, the ones that you did the sale with him, didn't you? And you did the quiz with him.
My trivia knowledge was lacking in Star Wars, but I thought I had a few that I missed. But I made up for it. Don't count my comic knowledge, but the outside pop culture knowledge, there's at least stuff to be desired.
Yeah. So apparently, as they say, half hour I left Mark in the back room. I was wondering how long I could leave him in the back room today before he gets the message.
Yeah.
Because he won Cover Slingers this week, so I think he should be made to just sit there and fester for as long as possible.
Doing your own juices, buddy. Oh,
exactly. Yeah, it's like it serves him right for winning with them crappy comics that he showed. Actually, I'm actually trying to add him to the stream. It's not working. I'm pushing the button to add him to the stream, and it doesn't seem to want to work.
That's not on purpose.
I got to watch out. I'll probably click it twice and end up kicking him out or something. Why is he? Oh, here he is. Here he is. Let's hope I have not actually. I pushed the button about 3 times. It probably means I've got to let him in.
I knew there'd be penalties for winning cover.
Yeah, exactly. Let him in and kick him out again by accident. Yeah, my computer's being as slow as always. Is that you? Oh, Bill's just messaged. Yeah, Mr. Bill always wants to have a stream and then never turns up on time ever.
he was here once an hour early.
Dear. I'll be there, he just said, eventually. What's it? Paolo was asking us if we could start at 9. He said it's better time for him to watch if we start at 9, but I ain't bothered. Probably less time for Mark to hang out.
I found out why I couldn't catch up to AJ. That kind of made me sad when I found out why I couldn't catch up to him.
Why?
AJ
just died. 67 years he was married, and his wife had just died end of last month.
Oh, bloody hell.
He was a little sidetracked. His racers finished well, but he was a little sidetracked. One wife, 67 years. What a
that's good. You don't get that much these days.
What a dude.
Mm.
He's just a heck of a guy. When I get my mom on here, I'll have her tell some stories too. I was swapping stories with my mom, and she loves telling that story about when she was 14 and AJ basically taught her how to drive.
If you're going to be taught how to drive, he's not a bad guy, really, is it?
I mean, he was just a schlub back then, but And I was trying to find a picture. There's in our local paper, there's a Sunday magazine bit. It's just newspaper, but it's like a 20-pager.
Yeah.
And on the cover of it after every race, there's the week after every race, there's a picture of the winner sitting in a winner's circle, drinking a milk or whatever. When AJ won his 4th in 1977, my grandma was on that. And that newspaper thing hung in her hall for 40 years before she passed away. And I figured, well, there's going to be easy enough things to find online of that. Could never find the actual picture of my grandma sitting in the winner's circle right next to AJ in the Hoyt Gilmore outfit. So,
yeah,
I'll track one down eventually, unless I just find an original. But I mean, that's how close the family was. Like I said, my Uncle Bud was one of his main mechanics. My great Uncle Bud Moyer, and then my grandma
got an okay today.
Oh, quite a big one.
Okay today from Ray.
Already?
Yeah. Came down quick, didn't it?
In there?
Yep.
That big. I gotta get with Ray. Ray, if you're out there watching, I gotta get with you because I gotta get him a whole bunch of Thor. It depends on what he has to trade.
Yeah.
He may not get all of them, Mark. You may get some of them Journey into Mysteries.
Okay, I'll have what's left over.
I mean, I'm kind of looking for Hulk 1 through 6, which came out at the same time, but I got Thor's from that time. So, yeah, here's what I got. List.
Was that a list of what? Was that a list of what you need? A list of what you're trading? What's that a list of?
This is my trade for list. I'm getting down to it. The more I think of it, I was thinking 200 comics, and I thought no, because I kind of want about 200 comics. So I'll probably keep 4 to 5 short boxes, and like all my foreigns. So I'm gonna keep my foreigns and my gift books and things like that, and stuff personalized to me. But that's maybe keeping 50 autograph books, but I'm gonna let go of short box and a half of autograph books. All the artwork, it's not personalized to me, signature.
Yeah.
I'll let go of about, I think I'm somewhere between 9,000 and 10,000 bucks. So I'm going to let go of about 8,500 to 9,500 bucks.
All right.
And then there's going to be a recipient to most of those.
Well, we probably ought to have a separate chat, Kyle, and do a, put together
I don't know. I mean, people have their dibs. Ray's getting his Journey, and Johnny up in Montreal, if he pops in, he says he wants to pop in. He may pop in today. He gets dibs on what he wants, but, I'm keeping it close to the vest. I'll okay my buddies, and this will be my life from here on out. Just wind chimes and pruning my rose bushes and feeding my birds and being a nerd and sitting on my porch.
You look quite well, actually, Kyle. I haven't seen you looking that well for a bit. Maybe it's a bit of sunshine, a bit out.
It's all a facade, buddy. I'm set up on my front porch. I was telling Graham before we started, I am in a fuck ton of pain.
Okay.
I should be horizontal in a neck brace, heavily sedated, but I ain't gonna be a big baby. I'm gonna sit out here and smell the flowers and listen to the birdies and the wind chimes and
good.
Good
For
awesome.
you. Good for you.
Yeah. Oh dear.
So how do you feel
busy
about
day.
1957 Superman now? Young 1957
Yeah.
Superman.
Yeah, nice one. A 10-cent ad. I think it's my first
AOKs,
10.
right?
Sorry?
Are you going to show us your AOKs?
Yeah. So I'll show it off. I've made a video, but I might as well show it here as well. It's hardly going to affect the views on that anyway, because no one watches them.
Well,
no one watches this. I'll be me haul videos or whatever. So, but anyway,
for that Ray gets which has an amazing story attached to it. But Ray's going to get a Journey into Mystery that was originally owned by the current Marvel editor-in-chief from his childhood collection, which has ties to Stan Lee and signing Scott Harris.
Oh, I love that cover. That's great.
Superman. Got a Lois Lane.
He just give you all these. He just say, "Here you go."
Yeah,
Ray's a good guy.
Yeah. I'll work some stuff to send out to him. Broke Cuz of Comics says, hello from Ohio. What time is it over there? It's just gone 8 in the evening where I am. So this is the last 3 I needed for my Amiga the Unknown collection, so I can read that now. Omega the Unknown.
Yeah, Ray is such a good guy.
Yeah,
Ray
that completes my run.
Yeah. How many of those? About 12
definitely.
Of those.
I can't remember. I think it was like 10, I think. I think it was 10.
Okay, 10.
I think this is the last one.
10 or 11.
I can't remember now, though.
11.
It might be, I've got 11 already then, probably.
Yeah.
Right, one for my Metal Men run. Right, one more for my DC Comics Presents. I think I need about 4 more now. They're the bloody expensive ones, or a few of them are anyway.
Oh, you can do another complete cover slingers on DC Comics Presents then.
Absolutely. If the theme suits, I will do, yeah. Right.
Not counting my Whitmans. Gray, any I've got, not counting my Whitmans, you can have. If I've got any of the numbers you need, you can have them.
All right, cheers, mate. Send me
the numbers, and if they're not my Whitmans, I'll send them to you.
This is a weird character. Like, he fires some kind of looks like liquid out of the top of his head.
Pile driver.
Yeah, do you know him? Have you heard of him before?
Battles the force field of the pile driver.
Yeah, have you heard of him before? Or he's very weird looking.
Yeah, he looks like he's squishing a zit on the top of his head or something.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? It's like, I don't know. Let's not think too hard about what he looks like. you might channel your inner Matilda and come up with something really out of order.
Yeah, it's 1 p.m. for James out there on the West Coast.
It's a nice house of secret.
I dropped a line to Liam Sharp again yesterday. It'll be noon for him when he comes on because he's out in California. But
got these Justice League of America index books. Number 1. Nice.
I wonder if when Bill comes on, he's bringing.
I'm not looking inside in the art. I think they're like the Who's Who kind of style, but of Justice League.
Yeah, yeah.
Number 3.
Nice. Yeah.
Number 5.
Powerpuff Girls.
Powerpuff
Girls.
Powerpuff Girls. Dun, 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 dun.
I had it.
This one as well. Another one.
I got a Justice League 106 signed by Len Wein and Nick Carty that I may put it back on the trading block because it didn't.
Well, you can have my name to that one, Kyle.
This one's low grade, but I don't have it, so I can read this one. Do you have original UK heroes in the comic shops? What do you mean by original UK heroes? What does that mean exactly? You talking about we got our own characters, or is UK heroes something? We have comic shops. We have UK comic books. I don't know if you like. This is the good old one he sent me that you traded. Sort of nice Superman.
Yeah.
Close to double figures. It's 114. That's definitely the lowest one I've got.
All right. Well, that's the oldest AOK I've been a part of.
The first thing we've got is Judge Dredd. He appears in 2000 AD.
Yeah. And creepy.
I'll just keep making sure your issues get older and older and older. So that 1957 Superman cost me a 1962 Journey into
That's a really nice set of freebies you've got there from Rayman.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, nice. Got finished off a run, which is great. Some fun Powerpuff Girl comic books. A nice old creepy. That's only my second creepy that I've got. It's from 1970 as well. So far the only one I've got is my birthday one. Your own heroes, like we have Superman, Batman. Well, we don't, not so much superheroes. We do have we have lots of comic books. We had loads of UK comic books back in the day. We don't really get many anymore. We've still got heroes in 2000 AD, like, Strontium Dog and Judge Dredd and Rogue Trooper. But they're not really like superheroes at all, are they? They're more like action characters. Much more like action characters. I remember some of the old comic books.
We have the world's longest running comic, which is the Beano.
Yeah.
Into about issue 4,700 or something. But they're not. It's not really superheroes. It's cartoon sort of characters for kids.
We had Banana Man. Banana Man was a comic sort of superhero in Nutty. He first appeared in Nutty #1. I used to have that, but I sold them all on eBay, all my Nutty comics.
Oh, no. Super Ted.
Yeah, probably got. I remember a character like the Steel Claw. He was like a super agent, wasn't he? Like a secret agent with a metal hand. He had radio out of it. The Steel Claw, and there was a character who was more of a villain called Spider. He was like a super villain. Do you remember him? I think it was called Spider. Yeah, he was quite. Yeah. He looks a bit like Namor or Spock. He had pointy ears, and he was quite an interesting character. And also, there was a kid's character.
The character we had was Dan Dare.
He was.
Occasionally
he was like
Buck Rogers.
Yeah, Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers kind of thing.
Gordon,
do you remember a character? Do you remember a character called the Leopard of Lime Street?
The Leopard of Lime Street. No, I don't know.
I'm sure that's what he was called. He was like a kid with a leopard outfit, and he was like a superhero. He had like I can't remember what they were called now. There was one he had like a leopard claw, and he could climb up trees with it and stuff like that. But it weren't like a regular, like ongoing superhero comic book. We never had anything like that, apart from reprints, really, was it? Yeah, I can't think of any ongoing superhero comic book that Britain had.
No, I don't think so.
Surprising, really. We think we they enjoyed the. Yeah, but that was a Marvel one, wasn't it? That wasn't an originated. I suppose Marvel UK kind of originated, I suppose. But you think it would have been more actually, because you saw how popular, like, even going back to. Well, we had Mr. I suppose we had what's it called, Miracle Man, Marvel Man, whatever he's called.
Yeah, both. Well, he's called both.
That's your area of knowledge.
He claim he's British, although he's now owned by Marvel.
But he was really just like Captain Marvel. After Captain Marvel ended, they just kept going by changing the name, didn't they?
Yeah, just a complete rip-off of Captain Marvel. So when Captain Marvel, they couldn't get the... so what happened? Fawcett lost a battle against National Publications, who were suing them on copyright because they said he was too similar to Superman. There was a 12-year lawsuit which Fawcett lost. There was a company in the UK, L. Miller and Son, who got the rights to reprint Captain Marvel in the UK, and they were doing really well with it. It was very popular back in the 50s, really popular, and it was a sort of main source of income. So when Fawcett sort of packed it all in, they just switched. they got a guy. They got a guy who just basically copied it, just renamed it instead of Captain Marvel and called him Marvel Man.
And instead of Shazam, he said Komota.
Komota, which is atomic backwards. That's right.
Yeah. But with a K instead of a C as well. So
and then that was a weekly publication, so it went on for about 7 or 8 years, I think. And but when you do it weekly, you get 50 issues a year, so there were about 450 issues of that. Then it sort of faded out, and then about 10, 15 years later, Alan Moore resurrected it in Warrior magazine.
Hey, pull a Zatanna and say Mixopitlick backwards.
No, because then he'll disappear back to the fifth dimension if he does that. You're not gonna. You have to be better than that to try and fool him, Kyle. Yeah, he's not gonna be fooled that easily. He says suddenly comics backwards, and he suddenly disappears.
What is suddenly backwards? I'm not sure you can even pronounce it.
Why you Ned Duds.
Yellow business.
All I've got to say is Jurg.
Who else have we got? Danger Mouse. But he's not really been around a bit.
Say Bartholomew
Danger Mouse,
Say Bartholomew Cornflakes Flash Art backwards.
No. Did I say I'm from London? I meant to tell him where I was from. I'm from London, and Mark's from Essex.
Which is not that far away. In fact, probably for me to drive to Gray's house is about 25 miles.
And I'm from West London, Indianapolis.
Drive to Kyle's house probably takes us a bit longer.
West London.
Yeah. Car get a bit wet. Probably get stuck somewhere in the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Trying to think of any other superhero comic characters. I was surprised with actually. You talking about the L. Miller and Sons, like Miracle Man, Marvel. I don't know if I've ever seen a single one of them comic books.
Very rare.
I think you thought you would have seen a lot of them. A lot of them from the 50s, where they were.
From I bet. 1948. So I've just had one grade. I've had a couple graded by CGC from the 1940s, They ran from 1940, I want to say 1948, through to the early 60s. So they ran for about 12. They're really, I'm going to put a video together, really interesting, because at one point they started being produced in France. They were actually printed in Paris for a period of time. Really strange.
Anything to save money.
And there was a father and son outfit, and they fell out because the son went off to make nudie movies, and Dad didn't approve. The L. Miller and Son becomes L. Miller.
You have to give us some of the names of the nudie movies.
Yeah. Well, I will when I do.
Find out the names of these movies. Yeah.
I mean, there are. Yeah, no, they're sort of
right. Do we do? Right. He says, "Do we go?"
Do you go to Forbidden Comics in London?
Yeah,
yes,
so probably just like a bit of boob. If he means Forbidden Planet, I'm assuming he means Forbidden Planet, doesn't he?
Yeah, Forbidden Planet. Yeah, it's it's the big comic shop in London.
Yeah, I've been there for ages. When it
it's
what is going on with your mic, dude? Your mic.
It's just a pop culture shop now, more than just comic books. When it was first, well, mine.
Hey, I'm gonna show you how you just went. When it was in a pop culture shop, and then mine, and that's what we heard.
That's my internet. My internet's always doing that to me. I know that. Internet's always doing that to me. I never go.
Yeah.
Is he still doing it?
No.
If you go to London, the shop you need to go to is Gosh Comics. That's a proper old sort of style back issue comic shop in the old red light districts in Soho.
Yeah. Mega City's not bad as well. Mega City Comics isn't too bad.
I've never been to Mega City Comics. Where are they, Gray?
It's at Camden Town.
Oh, they're in Camden, are they? Okay.
Yeah, just a short walk from the station there. If you ever happen to be there.
Well, I know Camden.
Back issues. They've got quite a nice selection of back issues, but a bit pricey. I think for back issues, the one in Croydon, Place in Space, is pretty cheap for back issues.
Yeah, Place in Space is good. They do they're good online as well.
Yeah,
quite a bit.
On New Comic Book, Free Comic Book Day, I went there. They have a half price sale back issues on Free Comic Book Day.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
that's a good deal.
So I got a few. It's like 30% off wall books kind of thing.
We're lined up youngest, oldest here, but it sure as hell don't look that way. We should split me and Mark. I look at that older than Mark.
That's because Mark bathes in the blood of virgins.
Yes, regularly. Virgin Comics mainly.
He's been doing that for the past 500 years, and look at him now.
Yeah.
Virgin covers.
Your last name's really Bathory, isn't
it? Yeah, exactly. You found out. I'll have to start again now and get a new identity.
Lord
William,
William
my
Bathory.
internet service.
Hey, you know what we should do? We should make this.
My net is looking bad.
We should make this a show. And then
stop it, Kyle. Stop it.
Well, then
Gray is technologically challenged. He can't help it.
I've got this great story about that did this. Now, it only happened to you once there. I think if you hang back from your mic, it won't happen.
We had a British comedian who based his whole act on doing that, Kyle.
There you go.
So he'd come on and he'd go, I've got to tell you what. Hello? And the vicar said, take your knickers off. And it was red. His whole act was like that. Yeah. What was his name?
It's Stan Baldwin or something like that.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah. Yeah, it was one of the old style 1960s comics, you know.
Hi, Wormy. Wormy's in the chat.
I'm going to show you some comics then. This is just random stuff I just picked up in my room. This is issue 2 of a 2-part limited series by Mobius. The artist here is Mobius, the French artist. So this is a fantastic little 2-issue mini-series. I really love Mobius art. Got a couple of the Mobius books. I've got number 2 here because I'm sending number 1 off to grading with CGC. This is interesting. You may be able to tell me about this, Gray, because this is your type of thing. And also Kyle will probably be able to tell me. What's this?
Blue Beetle. Charlton.
That's a modern comics reprint. That's a
First appearance
1977 reprint.
Kyle is right. This is a
question
reprint
of the question.
Nice comic though.
Yeah, has he got an M in the corner?
Not
Are you on
all
full
of that,
screen
but
yet?
totally worth it.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been pushing full screen for about 10 minutes. I can only see. I'm still seeing the old format, so I've literally seen about half of the comic book.
That better.
Yeah.
I can see full screen.
You've got to match the outside now. But yeah, there you go. It's coming into full screen now. Yeah. I didn't see the M in the corner. Yeah, modern reprint. Yeah, but that's the first. It's a reprint of the first appearance of the question.
Yeah, and it's not that modern either. I think it's from the 1970s.
76, 77 were the modern comics reprints. They don't cost much, but they're well worth it. I mean,
yeah, they are. Yeah, really great.
And they're in better condition than the originals because that original paper quality was just shite.
Well, that's true. I haven't thought about that. And Gray, I bought this one especially for you. It's a DC Comics Presents, because I know you love DC Comics. Have you got this one?
Yeah, I think I've got that one. Yeah, I think so. What number is
10.
it?
It's number 10.
Pretty sure I have.
Superman and Sergeant Rock.
What numbers are you looking for, Gray?
Yeah, I've got that. Let me get the list out, actually. I need to update my list with the comics I got from Ray.
These are your fault, Kyle. You pointed us to a website where a guy was selling these things.
Oh, yeah.
And it's quite fun.
They've cleaned him out. Those are originals. Those were found in the office desk drawer of the original publisher.
So I got a couple of these. They weren't expensive either. They a couple of quid for these.
Yeah. And worth every penny because they're absolutely original.
This came from the same guy.
And again, your third owner. The guy that you got them from the estate sale.
Really? Okay.
So there's a straight provenance.
Okay. Well, I got a few of those. They're nice. Kyle pointed me in the direction of that.
It's one of 3 guys. I can never remember his name till somebody says it. But he's one of the guys that used to run ACG.
Oh, American Comics Groups, yeah.
He was like an editor, publisher, and I can't remember his exact name. I think it was William something or other. But there's 3 guys that are involved in that, and it came from one of them. I'd have to dig out my research again, but
this is Star Brand. It's in really rough shape, but this is Star Brand.
Oh yeah,
number 1. This is Jim Shooter, and he was sort of insistent that Star Brand was not going to be your typical superhero, and then he got booted out of Marvel, and somebody else took it over and sort of completely did everything against what Jim Shooter had originally planned for Star Brand. I'm
trying to collect that Star Brand one. You used to see him all the time, but you don't seem to see him that much anymore.
Hey, and Mark, those acetates are one of one originals that were in-house use for publication. So that's like having an original printing plate. They went from printing plate to offset screens. So you have a piece of original art
So
that was used to print the comic book.
Okay.
That was used to print. They'd print it on an offset, and then they'd run the pages off of that. All the corrections are done on that. You can see the corrections on that too, with the
I maybe should have bought more of
color
these.
whiteout and things like that.
They were really cheap. They were like $1 each or something.
Yeah. Well, like $4 to $6 Canadian.
Yeah. Yeah.
The guy's been holding them for years, and nobody knew what he had. So I started letting people know because I have enough.
Okay.
I didn't need to be greedy.
One of my favorite series, actually. This is just hanging around. I love the Invaders series. With the Cap, Captain America, the original Human Torch, fighting Nazis, of course.
Well,
who's this?
Hey, there we go, Mr. Davis.
Hey, look at my phone.
Hey, Mark, you want to see it funny? The list I just made the other day, it starts with the early issues of X-Men I need. Here's the second row, Silver Surfer. And I need 9 issues of the original series. And what else do I need? I need issue 2 of Parable.
There you go.
Just held up.
The one I just held up. Well, that can go on a trade list then.
I have several issue 1s, but I need issue 2 of Parable, and I can never seem to get a hold of it. And that's one I actually want for my Surfer collection.
Cosmic Boy. I've known nothing about Cosmic Boy.
Remember the Legion of Superheroes?
Oh, Legion of Superheroes. Okay, there he is. He's
One of the 3 original members.
Okay, well, he's got his own mini series there.
Yeah.
Early 80s stuff. But that's what hooked me into DC.
Where did you get these from, Mark? You just got these recently or something? Or
No, these are just lying around waiting for me to sort them into boxes.
okay.
I got them out of my attic. I think Nevs quite likes Shade the Changing Man.
Hey, I think Bill's in the back too.
I love
I know.
the Changing Man. What is?
Just take it forever to even go back to the normal screen. I don't know. I've clicked on it, but my internet is slow as crap again as usual.
Mark, there was a series. Now I can't remember the distribution. Either you got it as a retailer, or in the first wave of them, Shade the Changing Man issue 1 came with like 5 or 6 promotional postcards, which were panels taken from the first 3 issues of the comic.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I can't remember how I managed to
okay.
flag a set, but I have them. But yeah, I think Shade 1 to 70 is one of the great unrecognized classics of the period.
Yeah,
hello,
absolutely.
Bill.
I've got a load of them. I had it on my pull
Who
list.
created the original series?
Did go.
Once you get past issue 50, they're a bitch to find, because once Chris Bacalo left the book, the order rate went whoomp. But
Really?
pearls
Okay.
before swine.
Does
I frequently
Milligan
say,
write them all?
Well,
Is
was
Milligan-
Bacala the artist or the writer? Artist?
Chris
Marcus
Bacalo
Milligan.
drew roughly about 1 to 40 out of the first 50 issues. But it's also one of the great running jokes of Vertigo, which is that the Worthing lot, which is like Hewlett, the Dillon boys, a couple of the others, would go up to the Vertigo offices in London and say, hey, we need some drinking money. Okay, if you do a filler for one of the lesser titles like Shade or Doom Patrol, you can have drinking money. So you can almost track when they went out drinking, from which month they took over the book. But there's a beautiful Pandora's Box story, which was drawn by Glenn Dillon, of course, now who does Star Wars stuff. But he also did one of the best graphic novels ever, The Now of Brown, after a stormy relationship with a famous pop band from the 80s from this country.
Is he Steve's brother?
Yeah, he is, yeah.
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 Wow.
Every English comic artist knows each other. England is only about 5 streets wide, so.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I know.
What band? What band?
I think it's public knowledge, but I don't think it's my story to go too in depth here.
Public knowledge? I don't remember them. What years were they around?
They were they were a Public Enemy tribute band who played Public Enemy songs in the style of Public Image Limited.
Yeah,
story.
that's exactly
they
what
were
I was
big in
thinking.
1990.
But not general public.
No general
Not
public.
general
They were
public.
certainly
Public knowledge.
they were a fruity band.
I like
that's for
public
sure.
knowledge.
I mean,
You gotta
if
start a
it
band called
was
Public
Frankie, I'll ask Nasher.
Frankie said, "Relax."
Save the Changing Man is one of the best Vertigo books, and for my money, and I'm gonna say it, and I don't care who says anything back to it, better than Sandman. Yep.
Okay, you know what series I'm going to say is the best so far? The television adaptation of any of them is Preacher. I like
really
Preacher
want to
more than I like Sandman.
Oh yeah, totally. But Preacher's always more fun. The only good Sandman bit of anything is really the Cassidy special, where Cassidy ends up booting not Neil Gaiman up the arse at the end of it.
Yeah, not Neil Gaiman.
Not Neil Gaiman.
Not Neil
Absolutely
Gaiman.
not Neil Gaiman.
Not Neil Gaiman.
Couldn't be. Well, it's a
But it looks
popular
just
look,
like
Bill,
him.
you know what I mean?
Sounds just like him.
The Lou Reed tribute act that is Neil Gaiman. Go on, you were talking about Shade the Changing Man, Mark.
Oh no, it's just showing it to you.
You've
Yes,
derailed
I-
your topic of
I
conversation.
pulled that. This was, when I was in comics, so I got all of these. I've got the full set, and it's just worth nothing. Really?
Those haven't gone up? Wow.
No, it's only got like Brendan McCarthy and Jamie Hewlett doing covers. Do you know what I mean? You want anyone
That's
good
all.
doing it?
Well, it's like Animal Man. I've got a
Speaking
full
of
set.
really good artists, this is
you know-
as good a
you know
segue
what?
as I'm going to get, right?
Hey,
Speaking
for
of
our
really good
audience,
artists,
those guys are
Okay.
known. Those guys are known more for gorillas than probably anything else.
well,
the
Jamie
artist
Hewlett's
you just
probably more
mentioned.
famous for Tank Girl. That's
What's
quite a
that?
big deal.
Yeah.
Jamie Hewlett's known for Tank Girl and the Olympics and Gorillas, and Brendan
Oh,
did
right.
design Mad
That's
Max
true.
Fury
Okay.
Road.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
So, I was given a collection of stuff a couple of weeks ago, and I'm still sorting for it, but I figured you guys would like it.
Hey!
Well,
I can
we're
now
talking
see
about
and
really
hear
good
everybody.
stuff.
Yay!
Literally,
Welcome to the
that
21st
time-
century,
the whole
Gray.
of that time since they came in, it's the first time I've actually been able to hear them and see them on my computer. I've been sitting
Hello,
here just
I am here.
watching you two,
Are you
hearing
guys-
them, and me
are
just
you guys
going,
ready for
I've
this?
no idea what's going on.
It's
It's
too
like
much
Helen
beauty
Keller
for one
learning to
camera.
talk, via
I have
silent
found a
beauty.
rare and weird
Yeah.
comic, and I think all of us appreciate now we've been talking about really good artists, right?
Yes.
This is a reprint of Youngblood #1. But it's not just any reprint of Youngblood #1. It's been completely rewritten by Atomic Kafka's Joe Casey. So all the dialogue is completely different. Apparently,
been
the whole-
redrawn?
Probably a reprint then, is it?
No, it has not been redrawn, but it has been recolored.
Oh, well, never mind. It's
Yeah,
still
I know, right?
Liefeld.
But the dialogue. There is dialogue.
Still
So there
no
is that.
feet on any page. Look, no
There's
feet.
one foot
Look,
there.
Mom, no
Look
feet.
at that. I found a foot. Well, it's more like
Oh, rarity.
the lesser.
Oh, my God.
we should slab this for the lesser spotted Liefeld foot. But yeah, because Joe Casey
I get paid double for
write
feet.
a comic,
No, I'm just joking.
Um,
Okay.
I have to say, because this is one of those.
Feet are hard,
when,
man.
when I take in collections for the shop, right? I don't do the cherry picking thing because I'm just like, look, I know you want it all gone, and sometimes that means you end up with stuff like this. So when I was like, okay, it's a reprint of Youngblood 1, that's going to be, it'll be like there'll be 5 X-Force 1s and like 2 issues of X-Men 1 and all that. But yeah, so I was just like, okay. But when I went, hang on, I like Joe Casey. I think Automatic Kafka was amazingly good stuff and like completely unrecognized for what it was at the time at Wildstorm. It was a regular comic drawn by Ashley, which came out more than once a year. So already, it's winning. But yeah, this is much better than it should be. Just because Joe Casey knows the assignment and decides to make an interesting story out of what is already there.
That's an interesting concept, isn't it?
Well,
So it's the
yeah, I mean,
original
it's a thing that
It's
can
the
be applied.
original artwork with a different text. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
That's exactly what I'm
But
saying.
really, how different is that from the Marvel method, where they draw everything and put the words? No, I mean it's basically the same thing. I mean,
well, the Marvel method didn't have any dialogue to start with, did it? So it was just like
no, it didn't have any or real plot. I mean, it had plot, of course, because it had to be drawn with a plot.
Well,
yes, Mark.
No, I'm just saying hi to Bill.
Hi, Mark.
No, not you.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, is there a different Bill?
There's Comic Mag
Bill
Musings.
I am not seeing this at all, but I'm willing to believe you. It's a really bizarre thing to lie about.
Two Bill, double Bill.
Yeah.
It's a double Bill.
Double Bill. There
right.
we go.
It's a double Bill.
Stop it. We're not going to get any better than that. Close the show down. I got another weird thing. Speaking of art, right? So, like in the mid-90s, there were things, you'd have like your standard comic runs, hello, Comic Mag Musings, and then you would have spin-off swimsuit specials, right? So there were homage ones, there was a Marvel swimsuit.
Yeah.
Okay, so I found the good one.
Okay.
I know, right? So this is the Babes of Broadway, which I believe is most famous for the solicitation that Jim Shooter put in previews, where he put in one of Fatale's boobs on the page and just wrote underneath it actual size, right? So that's the level you were dealing with Broadway. But here, because Jim Shooter, for whatever we want to say about him or his history, did have some good contacts, instead of like guys trying to draw like Rob Liefeld, you've got people who, I don't know, may have actually seen a human being before. And believe it or not, of all the places for his work to turn up, there's a Michael Kaluta double-page spread in here.
Wow. I think I've got that comic. I've got that comic in the attic. Yeah.
Yeah, in the attic. Yeah, in the attic. Next to the bathroom, next to the issues of Penthouse Comics.
Well, they're there, yes, as well.
Of course they are. Look, this is like genuinely good art. This is like I've seen humans. I can recognize how the physicality works. I think, is this J.G. Jones? So this is J.G. Jones, who we didn't know then was going to turn out to be like the shit hot artist who ended up doing things like Final Crisis, and turned out to be one of the best artists that DC ever employed and then completely wasted. But that was the talent of Jim Shooter. He would recognize people at a young age and go, "Oh, you're going to be really good." So he noticed J.G. Jones, and he also obviously noticed David Lapham. And as we've mentioned before on the show, David Lapham's one of his earliest gigs was drawing WWF comics with Stan Drake, which is already astounding. But then when you factor in that the comic was featuring the Ultimate Warrior, you're like, okay, fine. But yeah, I'm going to refer to it again. This is like, Vertigo did all those gallery books, like the Endless Gallery and the Vertigo. Yeah, this is like that good. This is probably the best comic that Broadway Comics put out. You know what I mean? And it's so off the beaten track that you would even find this. Because I only found out because I'm friends with Kaluta and he posted up the thing, went, "Oh, I did this for Babes of Broadway." I was like, what? But yeah, it's real. And to quote Terry Hatcher, it's spectacular.
I think I've got it. Bill, how did your memorial service go?
It went very well. 30 people showed up, which was fine by me. I would have liked more, but I mean, it actually turned out to be quality people that enjoyed, that truly enjoyed Jim and knew him well. And we screened Rocky Horror. Went great. Went absolutely great.
Good.
Couldn't be happier. I lost a lot of hair over that. I was like combing my hair last week, and I could tell I was stressed because I'd look at the comb afterwards, and I'd be like, "Oh my god!" So
the picture you put up on Facebook looks amazing.
What's that?
The picture you put up on Facebook of you DJing at the time just looked great. I really like that. That looked like proper Bill rocking out, man.
Thank you, sir.
I approve greatly.
Thank you very much. I'm growing it back. It's coming back slowly but surely.
I want you to check out, Bill. I want you to check out a show called Saxondale, starring Steve Coogan, who's one of our best character actors. Saxondale, I think you'll get a lot out of.
I like Coogan. He's good. He's kind of a new breed of the old British way satirization and things like that. And who's that girl that woman now who like satires everything? She talks about world events and all sorts of things, but it's
I know who you mean.
Yeah. Oh, Philomena Kunk.
Yeah,
Philomena Kunk is fantastic.
She's
up there with Fern Brady for one of the best funny women that we have.
Just, I mean, she's so in line with the British comedy that I love, you know. And meanwhile, you know, they are currently filming a new series of Faulty Towers.
Good.
Well, I don't know, but the entire cast is still alive. I think that's why.
No, Prunella Scales is not alive.
Who?
His wife, Prunella Scales. She's not.
Oh,
alive.
she isn't. She isn't alive.
No, and Andrew Sachs is not alive either. Manuel.
Maybe they get his granddaughter.
I thought they were. Oh, well, how are they going to do it then?
Let's get that conversation going again.
Oh my God! No, I know.
The guy who plays the general, you know, the guy who plays the general, he's not alive. The two old ladies are not alive.
He was barely alive when they filmed it.
So it's just John Cleese and
John Cleese is alive,
and his former wife.
Connie Booth is still going, I think.
Yeah,
but I think that's about it.
Maybe they can replace them with holograms.
Well, they tried to do that with Chevy Chase.
Working. I'm just saying, I've seen them into America too.
What are you doing, Kyle?
Go crazy.
Are you beating a dead horse again?
Beating a pack of cigarettes.
Same thing.
Dead horse is not allowed. I have a dead parrot, but not a dead horse.
See, he hears us. He doesn't interact until he makes a dead parrot comment.
Well, I had to.
He's hearing us talk about British comedy.
I was out on the front porch, and it just got too hot and too painful.
No, yeah, I've got my window wide open here.
So I muted off my stuff and came in and switched around. I thought I was going to be able to hang the whole 2 hours out there, but I couldn't make it.
Damn it.
Bill is Comic Mag Musings. I was watching Alan's most recent video, and my jealousy made me so angry that I unsubbed Mark. Alan is my I do a show with him. I agree with you, Comic Mag Musings. He has the most amazing collection. So jealousy is the main feeling you get when you watch his videos.
Okay. I have something to say that's pretty spectacular. So There's a record producer from the UK. You guys may know who he is. I don't know who he is, and I don't know his name. And I don't know if he died and now they're doing it or what, but he happened to own every DC comic from the beginning to 2014.
Wow.
And my friend,
God, you know what you're talking about.
And my friend Ivan Briggs, his auction house, it's the third time they tried to sell it complete, but I think they want so much freaking money, of course, because think about all the great comics that are in there. There's even a double action #2 in there, which is extremely rare, and one of the rarest DCs of all time. And so they couldn't sell it as a complete set. So I think Ivan is the first time that they've given it a chance to be sold by lots. And Ivan's actually going with me to Comic-Con this year, but I know he's absolutely over the moon getting this opportunity.
Wow!
So it'll come out in the PDA Gallery book.
That's the type of thing that usually goes to Heritage.
Well, yeah, but Heritage was told that it wouldn't break it up. They tried to sell it as one set, and so did Sotheby's. And now it came to Ivan, and Ivan, I think it's great that Ivan gets to break it up.
Yeah,
but I'm surprised. It might be because he's the only guy willing to do it. Because think about it, that has to be. That might be 1 million comics if you think about it. It may not be that much, but with variants and everything, that's just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
I might be able to complete my collection of ambush bugs finally.
Size 15 house slippers. There's your Bigfoot sighting, Bill.
Oh, thank you.
Comic Mac Musing saying it's a Bigfoot sighting with me.
Now we know why Kyle's wife is a satisfied woman. But
wow. Just
I went there. Yes, I went there. Because big feet mean big boots.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big feet, big
Donald
hands,
Donald Trump has got small feet and small hands, and he tells us that's not correct, Bill.
What's that?
Donald Trump has got small feet and small hands, and he says there's no relationship.
Oh no!
I can't imagine Donald Trump.
Whatever Mr. Mushroom says is always true. And
all right. Well, look, while we're in the realm of DC Comics, I have DC Comics.
DC Comics.
Where's Gray? Gray out again?
So my current favorite regular comic, and I've talked about this before, but it's for a while, is the Joker, the man who stopped laughing. And it annoys me because there's no continuity to it. It's like, what is it, $7? $6 an issue, right? The main story is fairly boring, but the backup story is, and I haven't read any DCs for a while, so I might be a bit behind. It's the Francesco Francavilla backup story, and it's about some kind of immortal version of the Joker who's on the pull. So here, he's getting beaten up by Big Barda because he really likes it. And it's like, I think Francesco is an incredible artist, and to see him like using his amazing talent on weird, what should be a Silver Age Jimmy Olsen backup story, but
Yeah,
it's like in 2023 instead.
An imaginary tale.
It is like it's got Laffy, the dwarf backup guy, or whoever it was in it.
Oh,
Gaggy, thank you.
Gaggy. Oh, Gaggy's back.
Gaggy. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what continuity there is in DC anymore. I assume they've just gone, do you know what? We've blown up everything so many times. We'll just give it each title its own continuity and let it run.
They're starting again in a minute, aren't they? When we got
the. Yeah. Oh, have you seen the latest Crisis? Who the fuck cares? I mean, nobody cares anymore. It's you're right. They've done it again and again and again. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna suggest Crisis. Who the fuck cares? It'll probably be a big seller. We'll have 1,000 variants. Mark will be very happy.
I'm gonna tell you what. Look, there's naked Gaggy.
Oh, Gaggy. Gaggy's dead? Oh no, Gaggy's getting that. Gaggy's naked.
That naked.
Poor Gaggy.
Fella with a machine gun takes out everyone.
But we can have a Batman number one, Bill.
What's that?
We can have a new Batman number one.
Oh boy!
Wow, imagine that.
Number 5,000 in the series.
Here's Joker trying to chat up Zatanna and getting nowhere.
Nice. I'm gonna have to pick that up. Which issue is that?
It's Joker, the man who stopped laughing.
Yeah.
This is the backup strip.
I don't know how long it runs. In reverse.
I'm gonna have to pick that up.
Yeah, it's really good, but there's a chap at the Marts who I'll tell you about it offline, but I didn't pay full price for these. That's all I'm saying.
Hey,
and I'll
Nev, how do you say nice panties in reverse?
Nice panties in reverse?
Yeah.
I'm not Zatanna-ing this kind of filth on this quality show. Apparently people watch
what we were doing before you got on here.
You're so mean, man.
He's mean.
He's mean.
Okay, see, I'm gonna work this out, and you go. Don't look at me because I've just been trying to work it out and doing my confused face, and I've got as far as.
Stop looking at me.
Stop looking at me.
Hey, let's start a band called Zatanna's Panties.
Right. Okay, guys.
Are there?
Okay.
Okay, guys. So this week's quiz. So last week's quiz went to Nevs. This week's quiz is Star Wars.
Okay.
Fine. Now then, as with last week, you get 5 questions, and you can either bank your points or risk them as you go along. Okay.
I think since Kyle didn't take part this last week,
and you also have an Ask Kyle. So if you don't know an answer, you are allowed one Ask Kyle.
Okay.
Right. Which set
Can he
of
not be
questions?
called Kylo Ren for the quiz? I mean, it's right there.
Well, that is what. Well, you need to wait because there's a Kylo Ren question. Right.
That's all I know about Kylo Ren. That's it. There's a character called Kylo Ren.
So, Bill, you can start. Which set of questions do you want? There are 5 sets of questions. Which set would you like?
Number 3.
Set 3. Okay. Question 1. Who taught Lando Calrissian how to pilot a ship?
Han Solo.
Correct. Do you want to bank or risk it?
Risk it.
Who did Hans win the Millennium Falcon from?
Lando Calrissian.
Correct. You now have 3 points. Okay. Do you want to bank it or risk it?
Risk it.
Who provided the voice for Darth Vader?
James Earl Jones.
Correct. Oh, you know your Star Wars stuff, mate.
Risk it. Risk it.
You're going to go for number 4. Okay. How old was Yoda when Luke returned to Dagobah for his training? And I'll give you plus or minus 50 years.
700 years.
No,
Wrong.
900.
You should have asked Kyle.
Oh,
You've lost.
900. Oh, crap. Okay.
So you're down to 0.
Okay.
But you've got 1 question left, so you could get 1 point.
Okay.
What did Leia say to Hans when the Millennium Falcon didn't start up in Hangar 7?
I don't remember.
Ask me.
Oh, Kyle. Ask Kyle.
You want me to get out and push?
Correct.
So
you've got 1 point, Bill. This is you're too confident. You see. Which set of questions would you like, Nevs? Oh, floating something.
So I was just showing off the Mars Attacks IDW book, carrying on from our conversation last week.
Oh yeah, well I ordered the stuff that you showed last week, but it's in the States, so it's going to take me a bit of time to get them.
I don't know. I'm not going to get them. 5.
Who played Princess Leia? Which actress played Princess Leia?
Carrie Fisher.
Correct.
Hey.
Risk it.
Oh! For bonus points, who is she the child of?
Oh,
Her parents.
Yeah, no. Kyle knows.
That's not wrong. That is not wrong. She is the child of her parents. Give me the point.
Unfortunately, there's no points.
Debbie Reynolds.
And Eddie Fisher.
I didn't know those were people
a world-class. Have you ever heard of Eddie Fisher, Mark?
I've not heard of Eddie Fisher. What does Eddie Fisher do?
He was kind of a Rat Pack kind of guy. He was a big singer in the 50s.
He was a crooner, was he?
He was a crooner, yeah.
I still want the point for my parents.
You can actually bank and draw, but do you want to bank or risk it, Nevs?
I'll risk it. Why not?
Which James Bond actor has a cameo in the Force Awakens?
Daniel Craig?
Correct. Yep. Okay, you could bank now and win.
Really?
Yeah. Well, he's a stormtrooper, but yeah. He does have speaker.
Do you want to bank? Do you want to bank it or risk it?
I'll risk it. Let's blow it off.
What planet is Chewbacca from?
Oh shit! I should know this. Like the Star Wars Holiday Special is the only Star Wars I like.
Hit me if you don't know.
I'll pass it to Kylo Ren.
All right, he passes it to me. It's Kashyyyk.
Correct.
Bless you.
Okay, you've now got lots more points than Bill. You could lose them all if you carry on risking it. Do you want to risk it or bank it?
I'll bank it.
Oh,
okay.
That's a win.
Oh man!
I have to ask you the questions anyway. This next one, Kyle helped the winner win the competition by he knew the answer to this, which I thought was pretty impressive. What is Kylo Ren's given name?
He's big in London. He's big in London.
Kylo Ben?
Kylo Ren's given name
is okay. Yeah, big in London. Okay, Ben.
Yes.
What?
Correct.
Last
Yes,
name?
correct.
Ben Solo.
No,
Ben-
I only needed
Ben
the first
Solo.
name. Yeah. Right.
Did I just win?
Yes, you have just won. How old was Padme when elected a queen of Naboo? With
How
plus
did
or
you
minus
get
1
elected
year.
queen? You can't elect
She
a
got
queen.
elected
It's
queen.
like two different structures.
Well, it's a different. It's
14.
correct.
What he said.
Well, yeah, but you've
Yeah,
won anyway.
14.
So that was round 1. Okay, so Nevs is 1 up, Bill. Bill's devastated.
The only Star Wars I like is the bit with the Arthur singing in the bar in the holiday special.
Yeah, I'm there with B. Arthur. Yeah, me and B. Arthur are hanging out in the bar.
Hey, I got a thing. Speaking of your famous friends, I figured you'd appreciate this, Bill. Hang on.
Uh-oh.
got the David Lynch bio comic.
Oh, I love that. I've seen that. I love
Right?
that. That is
This
so
makes as much
great.
sense as any of his films. It's
That is-
not a
Where the
story.
hell is that
Hey,
come from?
Bill.
That's
Bill,
weird.
here's some twisted trivia for you, Bill, and I'm actually going to kind of give it away by adding a third one. B. Arthur, me, and the Punisher have all have something in common. What is it?
Tell me
You
it's
all
not
lost your
threesome.
family to gunfire.
Nope. B. Arthur, me, and the Punisher. What do we all have in common?
You're all scripted by
Central
Jerry
Park?
Conway.
Mark knows because I added the Punisher to it.
I don't
What?
know.
Sicily,
Oh, you were all in the army.
No, I was not in the damn army. What do you?
Oh, you were all Marines.
Yes,
You
we're
all performed on
Marines.
Broadway.
You're all Marines. I'm
Oh.
sorry.
We're all Marines. It's not army, damn it.
Yeah, I did know that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
B. Arthur
sorry.
was the
I grew up
staff
with the
sergeant
Boy
in the
Scouts
Marine
of the
Corps.
military, the Air Force.
B. Arthur was one
That's
of
what
the first.
my dad was career Air Force, and he called them the Boy Scouts of the military. You know why? Because they never
most
had
of
to
it-
get near, except for the pilots. They never had to get near the action.
Yeah, Boy Scouts and the Marines go hand in hand. I'd say 60% of the guys I served with were Eagle Scouts.
Seriously?
Yeah,
That's
just
crazy.
an obscene amount. Just an obscene amount. The majority of people I knew were Eagle Scouts.
Harry Knowles was an Eagle Scout. I believe Jay Knowles, his dad, was an Eagle Scout.
Where the hell did you get that comic from? Is it just something some random person has brought into the
What
shop?
comic is that? The David Lynch comic?
David Lynch.
It is the
That is
David
so
Lynch.
cool.
So, well, I'm sure I've put this up before. You know, like Revolutionary, who did the rock and roll comics, and they did carnal comics.
Yeah. They did this too.
They did this too. Yeah. So they did the music. So, in fact, I can show you the back catalogue of the other things they did because it's on the back cover. Because they were
Is that a Gulacy cover? Did Paul Gulacy draw that?
It's not signed, but I'll see if it's on the inside.
Okay. Gulacy would have signed it probably. But that's good art. Did you like that art, Mark? The cover art?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do
Yeah.
like that type of art. Yeah.
So the credits read, if this means anything to you, Die Bourbon/Landgraf. So I presume Die Bourbon's the writer.
Well, Landgraf is an inker, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever that first name is, that's the artist or the penciler.
Okay. So they also.
It almost sounds like it's a computerized drawing thing, but
it looks like it's computer colored, but like really early computer colored. This has
Yeah,
got
it does.
Lost
It looks
Highway in
very
it, so it's
early
got to be at
computer
least
colouring.
93 or something. It's published in 92. So
yeah, it's a very
that's
early computed colouring.
that's just Fire Walk With Me comes out, I think.
yeah,
Which got at
Yeah,
the
right
time
after-
got a horrendous
right after
kicking.
Twin
Nobody knew
Peaks.
what it was.
right.
Yeah,
And
because
then
Richard
obviously
Corbin
25
tried some very early computer generated colouring as well around the same
Right, that
time.
was then, wasn't it?
I still remember seeing Fire Walk With Me in the theater years ago.
Yeah. It makes a lot more sense if you've seen season 3, I have to say. But on its own, it's like an issue 0 to a crossover, but you don't get the crossover for
but the return. I'll tell you this: the return, which is what season 3 is, it is so amazing, so beyond the pale, so everything you wanted and more. And that episode that seemed like it was Stanley Kubrick directed it was fantastic.
You mean
what
episode
series are we talking about? Twin Peaks?
Yeah,
Twin Peaks,
of the 3rd season.
The return.
I think it's the 8th or 9th episode.
Genuinely, it's the only time in history you could say, and then 9 Inch Nails showed up, and they were the quietest thing in the episode.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
this is a message for Bill, Comic Mac Musings in the Thread. This is not you, Bill. This is for Bill, Comic Mac Musings in the Thread. Yeah, there you go, Bill. That's for you.
What's going on?
He said the army wouldn't have me, so they booted me to the Marines. So I had to go in and tinkle, and just for a laugh, I grabbed that. What a difference 35 years makes.
Dude, when were you Sergeant
the hairline?
Huh?
Not much difference to the hairline.
Yeah. Yeah, that was me 35 years ago.
Jesus.
In the same area of town.
You look a bit badass, Kyle.
Yeah, a long time ago.
I think you look more badass now with all your battle scars.
Yeah, whatever.
You look like I was
Jim trying to be nice, man. Yeah. No, Mark, have you seen the 3rd season of Twin Peaks?
I watched Twin Peaks when it first came out and absolutely loved it. So I watched all of it but I've not rewatched it.
Have you seen the third season that just came out 6 years ago?
No.
Oh my gosh.
I will lend you the box set. I'll lend it to you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. It blows the original out of the water, right? When you say
absolutely. And it's so the only thing I can think
is it by David Lynch?
I might have made this comparison before is so we had this amazing show over here called League of Gentlemen, which is not related to League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Right.
League of Gentlemen is 2 guys who do lots of really good theatre stuff, and they created this world named after a really obscure comedian's real name, right? Roy Chubby Brown. He's like an end of peer, crappy, oh, look at these black people, shitty comedian. And his real name is Royston Vasey. And they set this whole bizarre world in Royston Vasey. So the first 2 seasons are bizarre little character pieces, and everyone gets their own catchphrase and stuff.
Yeah, it's a sketch show.
It becomes a big deal. And then there's a worse show called Little Britain, which basically rips it off really badly. Like on the level of in Watchmen, superheroes have troubles. So 2 years later, Green Lantern gets a DUI, right? It's that kind of banal, superficial ripping off. So for season 3, right, instead of doing a sketch show, what they do is they do 1-hour episodes, which completes everyone's story. And it's just a harsh, here's the end of these terrible characters. So these whimsical people who can't deal with the real world, they just all fall apart in hilarious and gruesome fashion. And in a complete fuck you to the audience, right? The most popular characters are the guys who say, now then, we'll have no trouble here. This is a local shop for local people. It's 2 inbred demons who are, it's a long story, but anyway, they've got pig noses and they're incestuous and stuff. So they get killed at the end of season 2. In the first 2 minutes of season 3, it turns out they survive the burning of the house, and they step up and they're going, oh, we're going to go to London. And you're like, oh shit, not this again. And then they get run over by a train and they're dead. And that's it. And that's the level of fuck you-ness that the return has, because it's completely anti-nostalgia.
They don't drive a bus off a cliff?
It takes every expectation.
It's not a real
look at Mark's position. This is a 60-year-old position. We're just like, whatever. Well,
I'm absolutely convinced, right, that the stuff
I'm going to have to watch it now. I really am going to have to watch it, because I do have access to it.
What was on the billboard? What was on the billboard that the young ones drove through?
I don't remember.
I don't know the trivia you're talking about, Carl. Anyway,
what was on the billboard?
League of Gentlemen is worth watching, but then you follow that and watch Psychoville, which is also really good. And then inside number 9 is they're continuing. Let's just do one episode at a time where we tell a completely different story in a different genre entirely. So one will be noir, one will be vaudeville, iambic pentameter. The Halloween episode is genuinely one of the most scary things.
You are almost literally describing the young ones. You realize that, right?
Yeah, but you keep the good ideas going each generation.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
that's
I'm
why
just saying, you said they've never done it, and it's like, that's the young ones. That's what happened to the young ones.
You did. So one of the guys from the League of Gentlemen, he did write Doctor Who for quite a long period of time.
Oh, yeah, really?
Yeah.
Well, now you
I can't remember his name, but this is the same guy who's in Sherlock as Sherlock's brother, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Mike Roth.
Great series.
Mike Roth Holmes. Hey, here's a funny one for you. What am I? See, is it clear? Is it coming through? Is it blurring?
What are you?
Property of
U.S. government.
The U.S. government. Hey, here's funny. What a difference 35 years makes. Less than 160 pounds, 5'10", blonde hair.
Wow.
Well, I don't have blonde hair.
So I think
I'm 5'8.5" now because of all the damage.
Hey, do you guys
I think
remember?
Fire Walks With Me works in that same way, right? Because obviously season 2 of Twin Peaks ends with that bit with, well, it's literally last century, but it ends with Dale Cooper getting possessed by Bob, right? And that's the end. And you're like, wait, what? Where's this going? So then you wait a couple of years and you get this movie and you're expecting this huge amount of plot stuff to be kind of wrapped up. Like, is Audrey Horne still alive because she gets blown up? What's happening with Annie? What's happening with Dale Cooper? Now he's possessed by Bob.
Annie didn't come back.
No. Well, that's a whole different story. But and Josie Packard, the last time we saw her, she was being absorbed into a dresser. So you expect this movie
and she
to
never came back either.
But in fact, the movie goes backwards in time, and it's the final days of Laura Palmer, shot in a completely different style. And obviously, I assume that's why I got the bad reaction, because everybody was expecting, well, we want to go back to the Double R and hang out and be cool in the Roadhouse and stuff. Actually, no, you're just going to watch a woman get murdered and molested by her father until she dies. The end.
Yep,
which is a pretty fucking. That's pretty hard.
Here's the layout.
I want to. Wait. Before I forget it, I got to ask a question. Have you guys ever heard of a show that came out in the mid-70s? It was a one-off. It was like a 90-minute movie. I think it came out on the BBC. I'm not sure. It might have been Channel 4. I don't know. But it was by John Cleese, and it was called, he played Sherlock Holmes, and it was called The End of Civilization as We Know It.
I've not seen it.
I probably.
Okay, it is so funny, and so the guy who plays Watson is the guy who played number 2 in The Prisoner, and he's bionic. And
Bionic Watson.
It's taking hold of all the tropes at the time. And so what happens is they get invited to an international detective convention. And all the detectives are getting killed, and it's all like people, like someone's like Columbo, someone's like McGarrett from Hawaii Five-0.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It is so damn. You've got to see it.
And I've got to watch that again. I think I saw that when it first came out, but I'm not. I must see that again.
Oh my God, it is so funny. It is literally one of the funniest shows of my childhood that I remember vividly. They showed it on the public television stations over here, and I tried to explain it to my friends the next day, and I was like in high school. They thought I was hallucinating, But I go, yeah, and there's Barnaby Jones is in it, and Cannon is in it. And they go, what? And it's all people playing them. It's not the actual actors. But you know exactly who everybody is,
It's actually called The Strange Case of the End of Civilization as We Know It.
Yes, yeah, because it's Holmes, so it has to be The Strange Case.
Okay, well, speaking
John
of things
Cleese
from the 90s
Sherlock
that we
Holmes.
probably couldn't revise
Arthur
now.
Lowe. Arthur Lowe is
Oh, really?
Dr. Watson.
Arthur Lowe?
Yeah.
For all the Dad's Army fans in the
he's
show
so good.
tonight.
He's so fucking good.
He is really good.
Dr.
love
Henry
him.
Groppinger, who's obviously meant to be golf, is Ron Moody. Yeah, it's got a huge cast of actors. It's got Joss Ackland as the President of the United States. Who else have we got in it? Burt Kwok. Burt Kwok is in it.
That's not a name, that's an ailment.
She now has multiple sclerosis, sadly.
Oh.
Christina Applegate. Yeah. She's had to retire from the business.
Yeah.
Connie Booth is in it.
Yeah, she does.
Oh, of course. They were still married.
She does a lot of
She plays Francine Moriarty.
Oh, yeah. She's the villain. I forgot about that.
My buddy Art Alizakis from Everclear.
It's so good. It is so good.
My buddy Art Alizakis from Everclear has MS, and it's getting degenerative, and this silly son of a bitch is going back out on tour.
Thank God.
I'm telling basically it's going to kill him, but he's like...
New Americans are not going to know these people, but Stratford Johns plays the chief commissioner, and Derek Griffiths plays the bus driver.
Oh, it's an all-star cast. What? Oh, yeah. That comic was horribly good.
So
it really is.
Lynch
I mean,
guys?
I am a sucker for anything to do with Katie Seagal. So, Married with Children, The Connors, what's the other thing? Sons of Anarchy. Like, that woman can do no wrong. And I'm absolutely convinced that Roseanne inadvertently stole her career. Because we should be praising Katie Seagal for her work all the time.
But Katie Seagal stole Roseanne's career because now she's married to Dan on The Connors.
Whose fault is that? Did Katie Seagal said go take a bunch of Amberlin and then go on Twitter and start shouting your racism?
No. I'm saying
she got dropped from Roseanne, and that's why Katie Seagal's on The Connors.
I'm saying Katie Seagal got the last laugh.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
She took her place on Roseanne.
I know, right? The irony.
Isn't that ironic? I know.
I love that. It could only be better now if Roseanne shows up on Modern Family and replaces Sophia.
Well, Modern Family's over. They'd have to reboot it.
Is it?
But yeah.
Oh.
Nevs, do you have the Married with Children #1 comic book?
No, I do not. I do not have enough Married with Children comics. I do have
I can work on getting those for you. That
Thank
shouldn't
you.
be a problem. Do you have the Todd Browning Spreaks comic book?
I have issue 2, but I do not have 1 and 3. That was one of the monster comics.
I could work on getting you one. It's Married with Children. So
okay, it's time for
Bill. Oh, Bill's been deleted.
It's time. It's time for this episode of Bill Knows Everybody. So
okay, Bill, off you go.
So Bud from Married with Children, David Faustino, was really big at the time of at the time that I opened SeaWorld here as their television producer. And I was put in charge of him one day as we shot stuff with him. And he tried to go up and start petting Shamu. And Shamu opened its mouth and I pulled him away. And then Shamu just went like that. So I saved David Faustino from being eaten by Shamu. And I mentioned it to him and he goes, "Oh, you're that guy." And he actually did remember me, and it was funny.
How would you not remember the guy who saved you from a fucking whale?
Well, he didn't know my name. He didn't remember my name. It's been 35 years. Come on, give him a break.
Yeah, but still, that's a significant life
event. I know. But it's so in that same time period, all these weird things happened. So I had to work with Alan Thicke, the comedian, and his young son, who was 12, Robin Thicke, who has become a huge recording artist since then, which is really
Even over
strange.
here, we know who Robin Thicke is.
You do?
Blurred Lines guy, right?
Yeah. Robin Thicke has a huge video with naked models in it. It's beautiful.
That video was quite the thing over here.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, but he was a kid. He and I bonded. His dad was a dick because he was on a top-rated show here then with Kirk
Was
Cameron.
he a thick dick?
Huh?
Was he a thick dick?
He was a thick. He was not. He was a limp dick, but nothing thick about it. Thick as a brick.
Usually was.
He was a rude Canadian, and everybody knew it. He was an asshole Canadian. I mean,
yeah.
Sure.
And
If there's one thing I know about Canadians, they're always rude.
They're always courteous. That's why he was a.
I've been to Toronto. Canadians are ridiculously nice. It's like basically.
Yeah, I know.
But Kyle's Disney version of America. It's like it's as nice and it's as interesting, but without the things that make America a bit local.
He's more well known for being
less guns, more moose, which is always a good.
What I want to know now is Shamu. Did he ever get anybody's head?
No, not at our park. No one has died by Shamu in our
Tillicum in San Diego killed 3 people, but
cause of death, Shamu.
well, it's so funny. One of the whales died one year, and I think it was natural causes.
Funny, but to be honest.
No. The funny part is coming. Okay. So a friend of mine, who's a bartender, decides to make a dead shamu as a drink. And so what they did was they took a black and white liqueur, and then at the bottom they had like what do you call it? Grenadine. And so they put grenadine at the bottom, and then they let so they went down, and then it explodes into blood. It was so bad. It was so horrible, but it sold so well. It really made me lose my faith in humanity.
I just love that. I love the idea that somebody decided, so Shamu has died, we're going to make a cocktail.
Yeah, and so that night on the menu was the dead Shamu. It was so bad. It was so bad. And people were like, I'll take one. That looks great.
I'm glad the death of the whale raised
as an animal guy, it really hurt my feelings. but I drank one nonetheless. Who am I to say no to a free drink?
Dead Shamu cocktail.
I'll have a dead Shamu, please.
You got me. I don't have to come back to dead whale cocktail jokes.
Have I ever told you guys? I might have already shared this, but I have very few good stories. But
you've got the best stories, Bill. Every week you kill us.
I worked. Did I tell you about when I worked in the linen department?
The linen department
at Macy's.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm working in the linen department at Macy's, and I just got married, and it was a marriage that would last 5 months, and I was 22, and I was just really, it was just not a good time for me. But I found time to laugh.
It's not the current Mrs. Field.
No. She's lasted 31 years, okay. But this was Susan Singletary Field, which her joined name sounded like she was out in the middle of a field by herself. But so
I told
what happened was this lady looks at my name tag, and of course it says Bill, and she says, I'm so glad my parents named me something more unique. I know no one else that has the name Diajandra or something like that. I don't remember what her name was. And I just was grinning and laughing because she was real nice. She didn't mean it mean. She was joking around. And I said, well, I'm the third Bill. I'm William Raymond Field the third. And then she goes on to say, well, I wouldn't do that to my kids. I wanted to name them uniquely too. And she goes, so I named them after my 2 favorite artists, Barry Manilow and Barbra Streisand. And so I'm thinking to myself, Barry and Barbara, those names are extremely common. And then her kids were jumping on one of the beds we had as a demo there in the linen department. And she turns around and she goes, Streisand, Menlo, you get down right now. And I was speechless. I was like, Yes, those are very unique names.
Did you just have that to hand, Kyle? Or have you heard this before?
They're right in the front of my record racks.
Oh, he
regularly brings out his Manilow.
We talked this out earlier.
Look at the Streisand on that.
But he has no Barbara Streisand.
No, I have no Streisand. I don't like Streisand.
Oh, come on. There's,
I have Judy Garland, but I don't have Streisand.
Her nose is bigger than Kyle's.
He hasn't got a Streisand.
He feels rejected.
Yeah.
So you're genuinely telling me you can't remember the name of a woman that A, you were married to, and B, has children called Manilow and Streisand? Because I would remember
I wasn't married to her.
Really? Who were you married?
This was a woman he met in the linen department.
No, she was a customer of mine while I worked at Macy's. I'm saying this happens during the time.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I missed the front of the story. Why have none of you asked
Nevs,
me
pay
my tag
attention.
name?
I am a
Have you
fan
seen
of
my
Low,
tag
and I
name
don't
this
care who knows it.
Quit chasing the dragon, Nevs.
I am
Hey,
the
Nev,
dragon.
Bill, you ready? And then when we
Kyle, stop it. So, what's your favourite Manilow song, Kyle?
Right,
Can't name
I'm going
one.
for a cigarette.
if it had to be any, it'd be Time in New England.
He's also partial to "It's a Miracle."
I am.
I know.
I'm definitely going for a cigarette.
I'm a song and dance man. When I was in grade school, I grew up singing Manilow, and
Is
I loved
Manilow
it.
still
Dancing like
alive?
Streisand.
Then he talked about Rocky
Bill,
Horror, and while I was still moving stuff around, I almost busted into a rendition.
Bill, you need to
Sort of
put the
Damn
Purple
Thing.
Haze in camera to get your.
You
your.
ready
Oh,
for
I'm
this,
sorry.
Bill? You ready for this, Bill? I'll act it out. And
Okay.
you can do the motions.
That's good. You should get the payment for
You
the
ready,
show
Bill?
now.
The sword of Damocles is hanging over my head.
That's funny.
I got a
That is
feeling.
funny.
Yeah, I still know all the words to the sword of Damocles.
So-
Rocky's big song.
So growing up, we used to mock him. Although I do love his music, we used to mock him, and my friends would call him barely man enough.
Barely man enough. Hey,
Barely
good
man
enough for me.
enough.
I'd have done him.
But you know, here's the thing: the guy. So you know, he worked on the Ed Sullivan Show. Then he went on. I mean, he's like 80. He's like 80 years old now. I mean, he's no spring chicken.
Now, you know the song that I did, though, right, Bill? It wasn't Barry Manilow. You know what the sword of Damocles is, don't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Of course I do. And oh, let me ask you this: are you guys fans of Procol Harum?
Whiter shade of pale.
Yeah, no, they
Yeah.
did a
That's
lot
what?
more than that. One of my boss that well, he wound up being a crook, but he ran the chain of comic stores I used to run two of the stores for, and Dungeon Comics. And oh, that's a good guy, Dungeon Comics. But no, he turned me on to Procol Harum, and you know they were really a fantastic band. I feel like they were way ahead of their time, kind of like the Moody
prog
Blues
rock.
was.
I like prog rock.
You realize Moody Blues put out the first rock concept album in 1966, Days of Future Past. And the strange thing is they never revisited that. They never went back and did another concept album.
And how does that tie into comic books? It's so obvious. It's not even funny.
There are many ways.
The title of that album was actually
became the biggest selling X-Men two issue storyline ever.
Yeah,
And that storyline changed my life in a lot of ways. It made me see comics.
How did it change your life, Bill?
Well, it made me see comics in a whole. I was a senior in high school. It
Yeah.
made me see comics like as something that could really make you. Like I have never waited so long for 30 days in my life to get the next issue.
Okay. Yeah.
It kept me hanging, and you know what? It changed the entire tone of the book, and it seemed weird to me that right after that they go to Katie Pryde chasing the alien, and that's the last Byrne issue of X-Men. That was such a letdown for all of us, I think. Were you reading regularly then, Mark?
No, I have to say I do think that's a great run. It's one of my favorite runs, but I have to tell you, I wasn't reading it.
I'm that close to finishing that Byrne run.
Yeah.
I
gave most of mine to Kyle.
And you're going to give the rest of them to me too. So we'll work on that. But I like explaining it to people. When I got into comics big time at 13 and 14, I found out the way I looked at comics. I found out like 10 years later the way I saw them. They storyboard movies, and I didn't know about storyboarding or anything like that until I was out of the Marines. But I'd always read comics as storyboards to movies in my head.
Of course,
I never looked at them the same again. I was like, holy shit, I've been storyboarding these comic books. And then I realized that's how they wrote them. They wrote comics as storyboard serials to transfer them onto celluloid. So I always saw them as a movie, which is why I got so immersed in them, because I saw them that way.
I've done many a storyboard. So, yes, I agree.
That's why I fell in love with the history of it, because it was like,
I have some good news that I can't really make public, but I don't have to worry about that here. But
nobody listens, Bill. You're okay.
Do we have any audience left? Gray, who's left in the audience? Ken is
even the show moderator is gone.
Yeah, no. I did find out I will indeed have a panel at Comic Con.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, good. What's the panel on, Bill?
Well, I can only say a few things, but it's basically going to be a colleague of mine has got lucky enough to be given all these tapes from the late 1990s from Comic-Con, where someone who's a vice president of a media company decided to do it on his own. So I think he hired his own crew and everything. But they taped almost all of them are dead now, but they taped a lot of Golden Age and Silver Age artists talking about their craft.
Oh, wow.
And they've been released and are being released like slowly. But my colleague has edited them and bumped them up to 4K, and they're fantastic. So we'll be running those during the panel, and many of them may or may not. Well, they are EC artists.
Wow.
Yeah,
right, that sounds great.
Yeah, so it should be a really, really good panel. But and the reason I brought it back to EC is because my panel that got rejected this year was about the fact that EC, the whole reason EC was vilified now has been found to be fake, perhaps. The whole seduction of the innocent thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It looks like he faked a lot of his
research.
Yeah.
Games.
Yeah. Like it was
not games. Not games. Frederick von Wortham. Wortham.
Yeah.
Who
well, they lifted a lot from the Keep-Over hearings, because the Keep-Over hearings they actually did dig. So
right. Well, so my grandmother, as a teacher, actually kind of debated him at a teachers conference in the late 60s, early 70s, because she believed that comics were a godsend to teachers and to children to learn how to read.
Taught them how to read,
yeah.
Because they tried to blame everything in juvenile delinquency.
Probably not the ones with scantily clad ladies chopping people's heads off.
I think the only pop culture thing that truly affected people, because I saw it firsthand, was fucking Marlon Brando. Everybody wanted to be Brando. Everybody wanted to be that tough guy. It caused a lot of guys to think they were tougher than what they were and get into leather fights and shit like that. But comic books never affected juvenile delinquency.
No.
Like if they were going to point at anything, it'd be Brando. I mean, my own parents told me that. They were like, yeah, okay, that blew a little smoke up our ass and made us want to do something. But, comic book, nobody cares.
Or James Dean.
But James Dean didn't fight. He was a lover, not a fighter.
Yeah, but our kids have
Brando was
angst now, and it's
Brando
all
was that
James
tough
Dean's
guy,
fault. We don't want our
but,
kids
you
to
know.
have angst. We don't
But
want our
yeah,
kids
they're just
angsty.
they've always tried to blame.
We don't like
delinquency
angsty
on
kids in
something.
the United States, fuckers.
And it's
Say
insane.
no to angsty.
When groups go, oh, there's juvenile delinquency can be blamed on.
What do you mean you
this,
don't
this,
like
this,
angsty
this.
kid in the States? That's all you've got.
That's
They've
all
all
we got. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. They're
insanity
called
of
the
it
Proud
is-
Boys. And look at the. Look, okay, I have to say
they've all
this.
got issues. They've all got I've got a regret.
It goes back
I've
to
got this, I've got-
cavemen. It goes back to, if they want to get biblical, it goes back to Cain and Abel.
Okay, by the way, that's the
I'm
best
gonna have
comic
to echo
store name I've
Kyle's
ever
statement
heard.
here. It's the same
There's a
shit every
chain of
time,
comic
right?
stores up
They
north
blame
called.
delinquency on television, on radio, on Link Ray's song Rumble, which is an instrumental, on the beatniks, on the homosexuals, on comic books, on punk rock, on the new romantic scene, to hip hop, to video games, to at the most recent one, and this is my favorite example, right? About 4 or 5 years ago, some guys drove a van, and tried to cause trouble with Tower Bridge. And the Daily Mail, which is basically your equivalent of Frederick Werton, but every day, suggested that these people looked up how to drive a truck on Google. Therefore, Google should be banned. And it's the same shit every generation. And the actual answer is some people are just fucked up.
Dicks.
And that's
and it's
it.
human nature.
Some
That's
people-
part of human nature.
The external stimuli is not to do with that. Like, you could make the same argument, like, the kids who did the Columbine killings, they ate sandwiches. Therefore, sandwiches contribute to mass killings. They walked, so therefore walking contributes to mass killings. People who are crazy are going to do crazy things. The external stimuli for the millions of people who don't do that, but are exposed to the same stuff, is just stupid. It's just like, it's looking for an answer when there isn't one. Because the actual answer is some
the
humans
answer is
are
don't
always
put guns in
going to
their
be
hands.
regardless
Don't
of what
give them
exists.
access to the button, and don't put massive
Well,
guns in
yeah,
their
I mean,
hands,
you guys,
know?
I mean, with the best will in the world, and the risk of alienating our audience, the Americans who have not yet worked out that until you reduce the access to guns, there will continue to be killings. Like, there's no way around that. And I know it's inherent to your rights and everything, and it's the same to saying to us, like, maybe you don't need a monarchy. And I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Hey, me
it's the
and
same
this
way.
guy up here, we agree with you.
Yeah, Bill.
Yeah,
Bill
Totally. I
agrees
mean,
with it.
I could have a gun for home
About
protection. I never needed an AR-15. I needed an M16
No.
when I was in the
No.
military.
No, I mean,
I will never need
the
an
Constitution
AR-15.
was written
No,
with
you
muskets
have
and
a gun at home.
blunderbusses in mind, you know? It just probably wants updating.
Kyle,
Do
do
what,
you,
Mark?
do you own a weapon?
Yeah. Have to.
Yeah.
Why?
So
have to.
basically, if you're
When
watching
my
the
wife's
show,
home alone, home
don't blame media for
that's-
people
that's
being crazy,
necessary.
because it will never get you the answer. It was like, okay,
Oh, no,
I will
no.
take out anybody I want with a stick. I can take out
over
almost
here,
anybody with a stick.
about 10 years ago, we had
My
a No
wife
More
did.
Page 3 campaign, right? And the result of that was that tabloids weren't meant to put naked ladies on page 3, which has been a UK tradition. And that was meant to, what's the word I'm looking for? Diminish sexual assault and all kinds of sexual crimes because it would lead to less objectification of women. But not that long ago, we had policemen killing women. And then the women who went to protest this were attacked by policemen. So actually, that wasn't the answer either. So we come back to the same point. External stimuli will not have the same effect on every person who absorbs it. So attempting to restrict, censor, ban that external stimuli is a false flag and will never work. And it's just to placate people in the short term who do not understand how psychosis, how grooming, how brainwashing works. You know, the chick who went out to join ISIS, you know, she had no more or less access to the internet than anybody else. So you can't then say, well, if we get rid of the internet, nobody from the UK will join ISIS, because most of us haven't joined ISIS.
Yeah, it's complete nonsense. I agree. Bill, do you own a gun?
I own something that would protect me, but it's not exactly a gun.
Okay.
But it's I won't go into it, but it's I have protection, but I don't trust myself with an automatic weapon ever, or a semi-automatic. I mean, I am a sharpshooter, so I can handle a gun. I know how to handle a gun. But I fear them because I've seen more mistakes be made with a gun than the right thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, you guys don't need them over there, really. I mean, you know, unless Jack the Ripper comes back, and then all you need is a knife and just to be fast.
I feel you may be sold a false idea of what the UK is actually like.
We need all we need is John Cleese as Sherlock Holmes, I think is the
I think you do.
To quote Bill Hicks, we are not the paraphrase Bill Hicks, we are not the land of hobbits and elves and Hugh Grant that you may have been led to believe by Richard Curtis movies. It's a bit grittier than that.
So again, Bill knows everybody. I used to open for Bill Hicks.
Really?
Yes. And he called,
Bill
and we were joking about the double bill earlier. He brought me on and he goes, yeah, now we can call it a double bill. But yeah, that is so weird. So much synchronicity in this episode, guys. I'm so happy.
You are kidding me. You did
you
not
open for Bill Hicks.
I worked with Bill Hicks for
you opened
2.5
the front
years.
door for him, or you opened a can of beer
for him? No. Opening for him means that I went on before him.
Yeah. I know what
as a comedian, I didn't open the door. I did open the door for him because I'm gracious, but you know,
you opened,
and it was in the contract, huh?
You opened for Bill Hicks and warmed the audience up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, primarily, see, he only got hot towards the end, and then he got cancer and died. He didn't do a lot of countrywide tours. He wasn't that big then. He did Texas primarily.
Hey, Bill, you know a lot of guys that get cancer and die.
Well, you haven't died yet, thank God.
A lot of people will rejoice that day.
You know, I'm just my dad died in my arms of cancer, sadly. But and I
will never kiss a pistol, and yes, it's empty right now, but that is up there for my. I had to go close. It's starting to rain, so I had to go close the windows, and I figured, well, I'll grab it off the bookshelf.
So I suppose the question hanging in the air is: have you read the issue of Preacher that features Bill Hicks? Bill?
No.
Okay.
Are you serious?
Now you know. Yeah, I'm absolutely serious.
Oh my gosh.
So you know roughly Jesse's story is he is completely demoralized by his family and he gets dragged back in, right? And he's just like playing the part of a preacher. Okay, so in the comic, what happens is Bill Hicks visits Lafayette, I think they're all set in, and he does his routine about hunting down Billy Ray Cyrus and shooting him. And that inspires Jesse to stop pissing about and claim his life back. And that's when he makes the speech in issue 1 about, like, you guys are all fake. You're just doing this out of routine, yada, yada. And then the voice of God hits him, blah, blah. So, yeah, I will send you some pictures after we do the show.
That's fantastic.
But Bill Hicks is basically the motivation for Jesse getting his shit together in Preacher.
So it's funny. I was in my early 20s when I met Bill, and the first thing he said was, you know, you're really funny, kid, but you are too blue. Your set is too, because everything was
Bill Hicks told you were too blue.
That was me. Bill Field was too blue, and
what did you do?
I don't. You know, I made tampon jokes. I was so ridiculous, but that got everyone's attention, and they paid attention to me. And then, and it was not me. And then my parents found out what I was doing, and I got in trouble. And I was still
what does playing blue mean? I don't get it. What does playing blue mean? I learned that off Buddy Hackett.
No clue.
I'm playing blue.
Okay. Oh, gotcha. So I there was one night where I kept saying about my tampon jokes. I go, they get you right up in there, And I kept doing that. And then Bill Hicks goes, you only needed to do 2 of those. 7 was too much. And I still remember that.
Stage advice to all.
You need to know when to
7
pull
tampon
back,
jokes
Bill.
is too many.
2 was perfect. 7 far too much. And so I still remember that. And so this Bill Ingval was in this group. They were the double bill when I wasn't the double bill.
Hey, Bill, there's your sign.
What?
Here's your sign, Bill.
Radiation sign?
Here's your sign. That's a Bill Engvall joke. Here's your sign.
Oh, I gotcha. You were pointing to radiation sign at the time.
That's what a cop buddy of mine got for me to put over my shoulder since when I was being irradiated. Because my friends have a sick sense of humor like me. So,
yeah, I got
So Bill, what happened to the stand-up comedy career?
Well, I had just gotten married, and I was
this the 5-month marriage?
No, this was the second marriage. Then this was the one that's still in
going
vogue.
Okay.
Yeah, and so
vogue.
I was working as a research analyst and scientist at Southwest Research Institute.
Right.
And I decided, you know what? I'm married now. Well, Blanca basically decided for me to a certain extent, which is fine, but she said, you need to like stay put now. You've got a good career going. And so I decided, and Bill had died, and it made me sad. And I was like, you know what? It's not fun anymore. And I really enjoyed writing on his coattails a lot. So, it was fun. It was easy.
Yeah.
And I just, my material basically evolved into just personal stuff. And I would go on stage completely unprepared. It would be funnier than when I was prepared. So, and I do want to get back to it, but I get a lot of those yayas off by my films, the short films I make now, and the TV series and stuff. And I am currently adapting a graphic novel as a pilot, so I'm excited. I've never given up on comics, at all, and I'm probably going to put another comic out. So we'll see what happens.
All right.
But I love talking about this stuff because it makes me have to focus and think about things in a certain way.
I guess it's a good thing I came inside.
Oh my God, dude. It's pouring. I think you guys are getting the system we got a few days ago. Actually.
Yeah, Gray was talking about Tornado Alley yesterday, and Bill and I sit in the heart of it.
Yep. We don't get too many tornadoes down here, but when we do, they're crazy, and they go across highways,
and then
take out cars.
And then jokes stole too many when they were on yesterday. I was making Coney Island whitefish jokes, and they're like,
"You guys don't ever have tornadoes in England, do you?"
Yeah,
sadly not.
Yeah, they have them.
Well, we get sort of little meeny weeny ones which people get excited about, but they're nothing.
Yeah. Wow.
Like
we even get these things called dust devils, which are really weird. They're like man-sized tornadoes.
Yeah.
And so a system will work up, and you'll be standing next to this thing that it looks almost like it could be a supervillain. It's the Whirlwind. Or, what was that guy's name in Marvel Comics, Kyle?
Which one?
The one who's like a tornado.
Whirlwind.
Whirlwind.
Tornado.
Okay, it was Whirlwind. Okay. No, it's crazy. Those things are
Marvel
nuts.
character
And they're self-contained. It's very strange.
Hey, Bill, was there a Marvel character called the Texas Tornado? Because that's like, there are trademark issues there.
Well, there was the band Texas Tornadoes.
Sure. There's also
that came after
this
the
isn't
character.
Too far away from you, actually. Obviously, like the Von Erich family wrestled quite close to you.
You don't know my Von Erich. I knew them. So they
Fuck
live.
out of here! You knew Bill Hicks and Terry Von Erich and his.
Yes. Bill Field is everywhere, and my cousin is
right,
I
I'm
love
gonna
it.
drop my next bit. Please tell me about the Von Erichs.
I went to school in Denton, Texas, where the Atkinsons, who that's the real name of the Von Erichs, they had a ranch out there, and that's where King Kong Bundy lived. That's where the Missing Link lived. They all lived on this ranch, and they would all come to the J.C. Penney's I worked at during college. And Mike Von Erich and I got to be good friends. Then Mike died, and then Carrie and I became friends, and we went to an Ozzy concert together.
Nice to break. Can you guys hear me again?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
Cool.
we can hear you.
Yeah,
and Gino Hernandez died not too far from where I lived in college. It was very strange.
If Graham's still
you
on
must
there,
have one of my holy grails, Bill, because I've been trying to find the Von Erichs comic for ages. I assume no.
I've never even seen one. There was a wait. Do you know this?
It's when the Von Erichs.
Do you know that there was a Von Erichs comic in Japan?
Is that a Shonen Sunday thing?
Yes.
Like Shonen Sunday. Yeah, I knew about that one, but the Von Erichs created their own comic, and it is.
I've never heard of it.
Oh my god! Okay, I am your Christmas, my friend. It's amazing. The Von Erichs.
I don't even know what a Von Erichs is.
Okay.
Oh, the Von
Erichs
very
started with Klaus
family.
Von Erich, who was the dad, in the 60s. He was one of the first pioneers of Texas wrestling.
Oh, okay.
They are a very famous wrestling family.
He had
same kind of pedigree as like the Hearts or
and
the
if you got the iron claw on you, Mark, you would die
the Unaways.
within 10 seconds if you're a normal man.
Right, okay, we're into wrestling again. I knew it wouldn't be too long before you two started. If you're not careful,
he pulled me right back into it, Mark. I'm sorry.
And start throwing it around
it's my fault. It's always my fault.
It is always your fault.
Yeah, you're the wrestling fan, man.
I'm not the one who knew the Von Erichs, man.
Well, I mean, I can't help my history, you know.
But I'm gonna ask
one of these days. I'm gonna know someone that's important to Mark, and then I'll be relevant, you know.
Well, Bill Hicks. I like Bill Hicks. That's
okay, Bill
cool.
Hicks. See, I hit a new precipice today. I'm so happy. I am happy. This is a good day. This is fun, guys.
One day I will piece together your career, Bill. I've still got linen department at Macy's, research and development scientist, stand-up comedian, animator,
producer at SeaWorld.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Saving people from Shamu.
Yeah.
You know, I think
and TV personality. I hosted Bad Movies and Star Trek for a few years. I'm everywhere.
Hey, so speaking of bad movies, I got another thing.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. It may be that you don't know somebody from this show, Bill, but I doubt it. So, Dark Horse, a few years back, pre-pandemic, but not much pre-pandemic, did a comic based on the relaunch of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
I know TV's Frank.
Shut up.
I do.
I'm done.
I've met him several times at Comic-Con. Yeah, I've met him several times at Comic-Con. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Of course, you know
He's
TV's Frank.
I wish I knew Joel as well, but I do know TV's Frank Conniff. Yeah. Nice guy.
They did a unique thing with this, right? Because obviously, for people who haven't seen Mystery Science Theater 3000, it's about a guy who is rocketed into space and he's forced to watch terrible movies accompanied by 2 robots who he made out of the special parts.
So they force him to watch horrible comics in the comic?
No, even better. They push. The comic. Blah. The characters get absorbed into terrible public domain comics, so they have to exist within the comic. So, like, you've got Servo, who's now having to work his way through this awful public domain comic. This because,
but that's Netflix, not a real public domain. That's a fake public domain comic.
Yeah, but it worked with the shtick. Do you know what I mean? Like, how much of the public domain stuff could you actually get away with? It's kind of a continuation of what John Lustig does with his last Kiss stories. But I thought it was a really
okay.
clever take on the concept, because obviously a comic about a guy and two robots watching a movie isn't really going to work. But incorporating the comic into the storyline, I thought that was a sweet idea. So yeah, they got 6 issues about this. And yeah, I like. Obviously, we're all big Mystery Science Theater fans on the show, so I figured this comic got no publicity whatsoever. Like, so I thought it should be worthy of some more screen time. So if you like MSK 3000 and you like comics, you should go out of your way to buy this. It's usually remained quite cheap, sadly, but there were 6 issues and there was an ash can that was doing the rounds. And the ash can was given away free on the Dark Horse Digital website. So if you want to read it for free right now, you can.
Wow.
Oh, there's the ash can.
Mark,
same cover.
Mark, show us something cool you haven't shown us yet.
Oh, flipping heck. Oh, yes, okay.
No pressure.
I do have something cool I haven't shown you yet. Where is it?
Tell us about your interactions with TV's Frank while he finds his cool thing.
Right.
Well, he was really nice. It's funny. He was doing this thing called, I think it was Cartoon Dump. And It was a live stage show that was similar to MST3K. But he was, he played Moodsy, the bipolar owl. And he would come out dressed as an owl, and he'd introduce the cartoons for the kids. And this girl who's in a lot of TV now, she was like his co-host, and the puppets that they would interact with would come out of a dumpster. And my friend, cartoon historian Jerry Beck, would come out as Jerry the historian and talk about them, but he was a character too. And so he would kind of act, and it was an amazing thing that they should have gotten to TV, but it never made it to TV. But it was a big hit in the LA, counterculture thing. I don't know how else to say it, but there are episodes of it on YouTube, and it's quite funny. So Cartoon Dump, folks. Cartoon Dump. Cartoon Dump.
All right. I thought I knew all the MSK projects, but obviously not. Cool. I mean, obviously Rift Tracks is still going. There was another one which was like Film Studio or something, which was the more blokish one, where they weren't doing the stuff for the kids, so they'd find more adult movies. One of the most famous ones is when they found a young Blanche Devereaux playing a stripper. And it's like it's meant to be like a hipster movie, but a lot more nihilistic than that. So it's like this dude who is doomed, and he falls in love with Blanche Devereaux. So he starts telling her life is worthless, and she's going to get old. And
so you mean the actress who played Blanche Devereaux? Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay.
And there was that, and it's also got like the wild world of Wongo or something, which is like these sailors find a dinosaur island. So yeah, it was good stuff.
Wild World of Wongo.
Oh, it's a whole thing, man. I wouldn't make this up.
When I say it out
Wild
loud,
Women of Wongo.
Wild Women of Wongo. I knew Kyle would know. I knew Kyle
knew it.
Hey,
Kyle knew it.
I tried to.
Kyle was in it.
I sent a picture.
He was one of the Wild Women of Wongo.
He's talking.
Here's a tough Marine for you.
He's talking MST3K.
Joe.
Now, you know what the first movie they played on MST3K was?
Standing Hampton. Oh no, that's your story. Sorry. What?
Manos Hands of Fate.
Plan 9 from Outer Space.
What?
The worst movie ever.
What?
The worst movie ever.
They started with the best.
I have watched it, Kyle.
I've seen worse movies than Plan 9 from Outer Space.
No.
I'm trying.
It's worse than Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Well, that's historically. While I was being interrupted because this bad storm blew through that's already stopped and starting again, I sent an image of a tornado that went through town. That this picture, which is on the group chat now, and hopefully Graham or somebody can share it, is that tornado going right behind where my wife was at work. My wife was at work
What?
just off to the right side of that picture. When the fire department took that picture, my wife was at work in the building right adjacent to that photograph. That the damage path to that thing was a short walk, maybe 3 blocks walk from where my wife was hunkered down at work.
Wow.
So yeah,
That
3
brings it
blocks is
home.
nothing for a tornado, is it? That's like a nanosecond of travel.
The debris came down on their building.
Holy shit!
Tornadoes don't travel that fast.
Really?
Well, they've been
They just
recorded
kind of
doing 75
slowly
miles
rip
an hour, but
No, but they've also been recorded going extremely slow.
almost at a standstill. They'll
Right,
come down
right,
standstill.
right. And
I've got
almost,
pictures of like
Oh, it's
dozens
horrible
of them.
over here.
I've got pictures of dozens of them in varying stages. I've seen more than 125 of them up close.
I'm so glad you guys don't have to deal with tornadoes because they're horrible. Honestly, you guys are very fortunate.
Want to hear my favorite tornado story?
TV stars losing it over the news over several weeks. That's our main problem at the moment, apparently.
Oh wow!
You guys want to hear my favorite tornado story?
Sure, go, Daddy-o.
It's not really an option, is it?
No,
of course
it
you
isn't
can
with
say
any
no,
of us.
I won't bore you.
We get
It's
our
gonna
own
happen.
Rhetorical question.
This is our therapy session, folks.
You say you don't want to hear
We
it, I
don't
won't
pay
bore
for
you with it.
therapy, but we pay for it by
Okay, let's go along with
publicly
it.
having
Please,
to
Kyle,
humiliate
tell us your
ourselves.
tornado story.
All right.
Yeah.
So in the military, you get some things called a 96, where you get a 4-day weekend, and sometimes we can swoop back home, and it's like a 10-hour drive from North Carolina to Indiana. So I came home for the long weekend with my buddy, and we get back in the car to go back to North Carolina right as a storm front is blowing through, and it followed us as we went across the states. And I saw 9 tornadoes at a fairly close distance while we were doing this, all the way from Indiana to one crossing a lake in North Carolina about a mile away from us. So we're in the mountains of Tennessee going back, and we're just scanning radio stations, whatever local radio stations playing rock and roll, that's who we listen to. Mm-hmm. So we're scanning channels, and this one comes up, and we're going around the low part of the mountains, and we're going around these bends and curves and stuff like that. And the guy on the radio says, well, there's been a tornado confirmed in it's something Gulch. I think it was Benson's Gulch, Tennessee. Well, we had just stopped at a gas station there. We're just back on the highway from stopping at a gas station there. And it kind of looked rainy, but it didn't look bad. So we pulled out the side of the road and looked behind us. And right as we did, this big ass tornado just ripped across the highway right behind us. And we didn't see anything coming up to it. It kind of looked like it did now. A little rainy, a little overcast. And right as we look back, less than a mile behind us, this tornado just rips across the highway, throwing cars off the road. It's like, holy shit, that's close. We go about another half hour, and there's a rainbow. There's a great big rainbow, real bright. And we're like, oh, that's beautiful. And we turn another corner, and it's a double rainbow. Even though most tornadoes are double rainbows, you just don't see them depending on the angle. Okay. And we turn another corner, and the middle rainbow's end was right in the middle of the street. So we pulled over on the highway, and there's like a dozen cars just standing there in the base of. Only time I've ever seen the bottom of a rainbow, because it stopped right on that street.
Well,
so did you get the pot of gold?
Yeah, did you get the pot of gold, Kyle?
It's just wet. That's all that is. That's all the rainbow is refraction.
Kyle's banned from hanging out with the leprechauns after that thing with the apricot yogurt.
It's just wet. It's just made of the mist wet and things like that. It was neat, and you kind of lose visibility of it. When you get within about 10 feet of it, you lose visibility, but you can look up and see it. But it ain't nothing. It's just rain like that. That's all the bottom of it.
Mark, suddenly we see a leprechaun in the background photobombing, Kyle.
Yeah, seeing that one, because almost every other one I've seen, they knew it was coming. Almost every other one I've seen, we knew it was coming. We knew the angle it was coming from. That one shocked the shit out of us. Anybody want to say hi to my beautiful wife? Hi, beautiful wife.
Hi, beautiful wife.
She's waving from a.
Hi. Hey, she does exist.
Everyone, who doubt, she does exist.
If you guys ever want to see something hilarious, watch the the making of Willow, the TV series. What's that guy's name? Who's
Warwick Davis.
Warwick Davis. Warwick Davis is hilarious. And
yeah, he is. He's a really good comedy actor.
Have you seen him with Ricky Gervais?
No.
Yeah. He did a comedy show with Ricky Gervais.
Oh my god!
It's Life's Too Short. It's beautiful.
It was called Short. I think.
Oh, okay. I wasn't thinking of that. I was thinking of the episode.
Ricky Gervais is acting as sort of his manager. It's absolute good. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, I think Warwick Davis is. I think he's phenomenal.
If y'all are curious, lightning just hit right over there.
Oh, lovely.
And
well, get inside then, you idiot.
So.
Don't go chasing lightning, you freak. What do I have to say that? Don't go chasing
he's going to launch a kite with the key at the end of the tail in a minute, you know.
We could get
by the way, I'm related to Bill
Franklin of Indianapolis here, guys, if we're lucky.
All right. This is my last bid, right? Last bid. Bill.
Yes.
Please tell me you do not know Takeshi Kitano.
Wait, who?
That's the correct answer. Thank you. Okay.
What was
it? I've been banging on about the beauty of a Japanese magazine. Sorry, an English language magazine called Pulp. Pulp was your handy guide, basically, to really good manga. This is where stuff like Uzumaki, stuff like Phoenix #9, and like Cinderella, Black White, they were all serialized in Pulp, which was published in English. It was basically like an English version of a manga. But they would also do articles related to what was big in Japanese culture at the time. Now, at the point of release of Battle Royale, as pictured on the cover here, it was an extremely controversial movie in Japan and was Battle Royale. Sorry, the Clockwork Orange of Japanese movies. And because it was very anti-government, anti-status quo, which you don't do when you make movies like this, in Pulp, when on the basis that it might not actually be broadcast, like the Japanese government might just say, do you know what, Battle Royale is too dangerous. So there are already problems trying to sell it as a novel, and it's been, it's one of those. It's not like over here where somebody tries to big hut song and dance about it, so everyone goes and looks it up. They just went, Battle Royale didn't happen. Eventually it did happen. So they went, right, let's go all out. So you get the cover feature featuring the amazing Takeshi Kitano, who plays the teacher in Battle Royale. So if you've seen or watched it, you know what that means. And he is extremely funny. Very deadpan. At one point, he throws a knife into a kid's head. But then they do a review piece on the whole thing. So they chat about what the film is and the context of the whole thing. And I've just cost the show the 2 Americans watching. So that's pretty good. Then you get an overview of the book. That's pretty awesome. But then they map it all out. So they explain how the thing works so that the kids are numbered. And this is the plan of the island that they have to try and survive on. This is like the sort of thing that should have been given away with the DVD. Then they give you a red breakdown of who all the film characters are. And I will say, for love nor money, I don't think there has been a better manga magazine before or since Pulp. So this is obviously like the film special. But they'd also do things like have big interviews with Paul Pope, because Paul Pope did a bunch of manga that most people don't know about. They do a horror special. So this goes through everything from like The Ring, The Grudge, Uzumaki, because they started serializing Uzumaki with this. So you bought this magazine, didn't know what you're getting. There you go, John G. Ito to the face. And then there is this beautiful illustrated timeline of the history of Japanese horror movies and media, because they're quite clever. They know, with stuff like Uzumaki, we just think of it as this manga that came out and there was a film. But there were also video games of Uzumaki, which are petrifying. And it's one of my great lost things. So yeah, Pulp magazine, honestly, if you're not aware of this, this was essentially like the style guide to why anime and manga were really good. And, they were the guys who got hold of Tezuka and said, hey, that Phoenix #9 thing you're doing, can we serialize that? Because we don't think many people know about it. So yeah, here's an issue where you got free stickers of a credit card, which is always good. And they also did a thing called Shortcuts. Shortcuts was an amazing strip parodying what was known as Kogal culture, because in Japan, schoolgirl culture is extremely huge, like the teenage thing. So they basically determine what is cool in every aspect of civilization. And this whole strip is basically a continuing horrific parody of that in one-page strips. So yeah, that's my recommendation. Pulp is quite hard to find now, but all of the good strips, Shortcuts, Uzumaki, even a Monkey Can Draw manga, Cinderella, Phoenix, all been in print forever. But yeah,
Nev, do you know what my panel was on last year at Comic-Con?
No, but if you start singing, I'll join in.
Well, I'm not going to sing the Astro Boy theme song, but it was Tezuka.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, the first panel on Tezuka since he died. So
wow,
which is 34 years ago.
Mm.
So yeah, I was happy to be the guy who did it, but it's funny. I got it passed in 2020 for the 2020 con, and of course that didn't happen. 2021 didn't happen. Well, it did happen, but it was a short one, and they offered me the chance to do it then, but no, I waited till last year, and it was the first panel at Comic-Con last year on Thursday morning, and we had over 200 people, so I was really pleased with that. But I'm a big Tezuka historian and fan, so I do believe he didn't start manga, but he certainly revolutionized it, even more than Stan Lee did over here. And he also, but he did basically start anime.
Yeah,
because Astro Boy is considered the very first anime television series.
Who started manga?
It was in the 20s. It's the guy that did Tank Boy or Tank.
Gigi manga, 1909. Started in 1909.
His name was Gigi Manga?
His name was Gigi.
Oh.
The translation.
Oh, okay. I was going to say,
Gigi
man.
manga.
Like,
I have a couple
it's
of those.
like Jack Kirby being called Jack Comics, you know? It's like...
Right.
I have a couple of. I have a 1924 and a 1926 Gigi manga upstairs.
Or it's like comics being called Kirby's.
If you want any Gigis from the 20s and early 30s, I can get them.
Idea I've heard. Hey, so I got a guy in Japan that you guys might have a better idea of what's going on than I do. So, guys, I assume between your collective social membranes, you might have a better idea than me. Because I've seen this a couple of times, and I'm wondering what's going on. And yes, this is the cheap gossip bit of the show. Why is Rob Liefeld suddenly shitting on John Romita Sr.? Like, there's been a few pages posted of John Romita Sr.'s work, and Rob's been saying stuff like another page that Romita Sr. ruined. I'm like, what? Is there a backstory to this?
He might be calling out the inker, not Romita.
No, it's definitely Romita Sr. Because there was a Jim Starlin page that was posted yesterday, and which has nothing to do with Romita Sr., by the way. But Rob commented on another page that Romita Sr. destroyed. And like, to me, that's like, I don't even know. I can't even think of the disparity of talent between the two. It's like,
no.
In wrestling terms, it's like Virgil calling out Kenny Omega. You know, it's like, it's such an abstract thing. I thought there must be more to this story.
It's ridiculous.
Liefeld's just whoring for attention. If he's dogging Romita Sr., he can dog Romita Jr., but if he's dogging Romita Sr., he's just whoring for attention. Hey, Graham, speaking of whoring for attention, I need to whore for attention a little bit. I sent that picture to our little group thing. Graham, can you share that on the screen here? I want people to see how close this tornado came. I put it in the group chat thing. But
is Gray here?
Share it.
It's Gray here.
He's in the backdrop. He's been answering. But just so you know, because you guys can see the picture, I don't know if anybody else can see it, but it was like a mile and a half right there. Like literally right there.
When
My
was
wife's
that?
work is about a mile that way, and it was a mile and a half that way.
When was that?
That one was in 16. 16 or
Oh,
17.
so this is way past history. Why are we even going there now?
Tornadoes.
Tornadoes
They come
every
close
day,
to the house.
It's a regular part of the show. It's the tornado.
Oh, yes. Oh, and now
Well, I
funny
can't
books
give
and
you guys
tornadoes.
titty
tornado portion
twisters.
of our show.
If I can't give you titty twisters, I'm gonna give you real twisters. Because I want to give you all titty twisters. That's what I want to do.
Is that the option?
Please
of neither?
stay away from our areolas.
Please. You want to see some big titty
That's not the
clamps?
first time you've heard that, is it, Kyle?
Let me
We
show
don't
you
want
my
to see
big
your
collection of
titties,
titty
Kyle. Oh, no.
No.
Is he going to take his
No.
shirt off?
No.
What
Why
is
do we-
going on?
So nobody's going to ask me about why I'm called that this week. No,
I got
nobody's-
titty clamps from this size to this size.
Well,
You have Wolverine hair and sideburns, mutton chops.
yeah, he
You
does.
look like Logan.
It's not
to me.
intentional. It's just been, well, as I said to you guys on the Facebook, my neck was twisted to fuck and has been for the last few days. So that whole shaving thing has just not been an option.
Oh, you
Yeah.
look good, dude.
That's
You
why
look
I'm
good.
like this.
You're rocking that
Painkillers are a hell
Logan
of a drug.
vibe.
People ask me why I'm always scruffy, and it's like, you ever took a razor, even clippers, you take a clipper to your face and you twitch, you take a chunk out of it, you take a razor to your face.
Oh,
you
yeah,
lose
yeah.
the hairs.
Yeah, I don't shave every day. Mark probably trims every day, but doesn't shave every day. No?
No, my wife would like me to trim every day, but I'm too lazy.
Well, you know what's weird is the only reason I have facial hair is because my wife really likes it, and the only reason I'm growing my hair long is because my wife really likes it. Yeah, I would much rather be clean shaven, but I mean, it doesn't look bad on me. You know, I'm rocking the villain look today.
This is how I should have spent the entire day.
Yeah, you're so villainous, dude. You're like the nice Captain Hook, Bill.
No. Well, no, I'm like the nice Roger Delgado. Do you guys know who he was? He was
No.
Say that again.
Bill is definitely a modern Bond villain. I can see him in the next
He's
Bond
so
film.
non-villainous.
No,
but I can act
no,
it.
no,
It
no,
doesn't
no.
matter. I
Like
can
the
act it.
most non-malicious person in the world.
No. But that's exactly it. You see, because if you're going to do the next Bond movie, you want the villain to be non-villainous, don't you? You want him to be sort
Hey
of
guys,
Captain Nipple Clamp Bill.
like Eisenberg is Lex Luthor. You know? No, we don't want that again.
Yeah, I think definitely I would have Bill as the next big Bond villain. I think he
I
is.
love that.
What's the name of the henchman? in the
Mr.
Superman movie?
Bond.
You guys will know. Come
Meet
on,
my
come on.
invisible
Focus.
cat.
Okay, Lex Luthor's like henchman in the Superman movies.
Oh, I'll play
I know.
Gaggy. Oh wait, I'm not a dwarf.
Gaggy.
That'll go to Warwick Davis. Okay, sorry.
I know the guy you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. You know.
You see, you did a little laugh there, Bill. You went.
That's a henchman.
Bond. But Crispin Glover's dad played a Bond villain once. He was a minor villain, but he was in Diamonds Are Forever.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He was one of those creepy guys that followed him everywhere. And the other guy had glasses and long hair.
I've heard of those guys.
You've heard of him? Yeah.
Bill,
Kyle.
you would be Lord Butt Pickle.
Kyle, I have to ask you about those shorts. They look as if they're lightning conductors. What is going on? Or bin bags or something? Just move back. They're sort of all shiny and black.
Yeah, we want to really see him.
Is this wise? You know what happens when you get him to reverse wearing shorts, right? If that starts dancing, this is on you. It's on you,
yeah.
right?
Hold on.
So I was hoping they
Oh
There
no!
you go.
Oh no! Don't
There
move
you
us.
go.
Whatever you do, don't pull your. Oh God!
All right, now I'm going
How
to keep
did
the
you
shirt
not
down.
see
Pull
that
your pants down. Oh, now it's a titty dance. Oh great.
No, it wasn't, but I pulled the shirt down so the dangle couldn't be seen.
Okay.
So I have a comic.
It's lycra spandex or whatever.
Lycra spandex is conductive. Sorry.
Oh, mouse. Is that
Anus.
mouse? No, Linus.
Oh, line. It looked like anus. to
So
me.
It looks like
Linus
anus.
is a Linus is a French magazine which is dedicated to comics that originally started out serializing Peanuts, hence Linus. And it's super upgraded in the last 5 years. So now they do these high quality, like proper paper edition things. They did one on Lou Reed a few years ago, but this is one on based on Federico Fellini. So basically, they're like, "Hey, do you want to create some new comic strips based on the work of Fellini?" While serializing Calvin and Hobbes and Peanuts, obviously. So here's Calvin and Hobbes, as beautiful as it ever was. I know you can get the magazine digitally, but it's not quite the same. But yeah, it's just hey, go nuts. Just do what you want to do. Oh, look, there's a big picture of a straight.
What story is that in Linus?
This is
Tornado Joe. That's the story.
So this is the thing that we asked Graham to do about 10 minutes
look
ago.
at the screen, Nevs.
I'm seeing the screen. I am well aware. I've been upstaged by a
Tornado
clown.
Joe. Go Joe.
Just to the right of that orange van is my wife's job.
Wow.
Just to the right of it. And that's a little one. That's like an F3. That was an F3. That's a little one.
Wow.
But the Avon Fire Department took that when they were on their way to respond, and they took that picture. And that tree off on the right side of the camera is the side of my wife's building.
Wow.
That's how close that hit behind her.
Wow.
So that hill goes up and down, and before that hill went all the way down, that was the base of the tornado.
I don't think I'd want to be in one of those cars.
That it was a lot bigger than that, but I mean that's still big enough. But it was like twice that size just before then.
Wow. So it's winding down in this picture.
It started to gear down a little bit once it went there, but yeah, and that's another one building up behind it, but it didn't come up. But yeah, I could walk to that. In the time we've been on this show, I could have walked to that and back. Just in the time we've been on this show.
And where would AJ Foyt be?
Over.
Would he be walking with you?
He's in the third car back. He's in that silver
left.
car just there.
3 miles to the left. 3 to 4 miles to the left.
AJ, you're in our thoughts. We love you, man.
Love that guy. All right, you can take my silliness off the screen. Go back to Nevs there. So thank you for showing that. And ironically, that's not one of the ones I took. Like I said, that was Avon Fire Department. I didn't take that one. So,
Carl,
the street that's on Ronald Reagan Boulevard, sadly.
Ronald Reagan Boulevard
is right behind me here. I mean, it's directly behind me.
Welcome to Reagan Boulevard.
Is that adjacent to Margaret Thatcher Crescent?
You would think. Hey, I need to drive around.
But Thatcher Circle is right around the corner.
Oh, Thatcher Circle, okay.
Hey, Mark, you know what this town is named after, right?
What, Indianapolis?
No, Avon. I live on the
Avon
cusp of
Cosmetics?
Avon, Indiana.
Avon Cosmetics?
So you sell Avon too?
It's named after Stratford on Avon. There is actually a housing edition called Stratford on Avon right behind me, and all these housing edition names are named after British things.
Okay, well I hope they teach Shakespeare in the local schools then.
So we have a subdivision that's named after all 60s TV people.
So there's that going on now.
Oh wow,
booty!
I know, right?
Booty.
Never to showing dirty comics.
This is from the same issue of Linus because they treat.
I know it's
they
have no shame.
Badly drawn in variant covers and put in awful shrink wrap. There's something kind of worrying about the American comic attitude to sex. Like, let's get people who can't draw boobs to draw boobs and then charge them $20 for the privilege of buying it. So yeah, that is the. That's really.
That sounds like that guy from the late '80s that put out all those books that were elf books where they.
Oh Jesus!
Everybody's naked.
It's not Barry Blair, is it?
No.
Wally Wood did a whole series of naked elves.
But Wally Wood could draw, so it's not that.
No, he has a Chinese name, I think.
Elf Lord, Elf Quest.
No, this
Elf
guy
Fist.
was more nuanced. It was very good art. God, I wish I could remember his name now. But I had a friend who was really into him, and I can ask. But it was good stuff. But it was very finished. But he did a lot more. He put it in a lot more hardbacks than most comics coming out of the late 80s, early 90s.
Otis. I was trying to think of Otis from the Superman movies. I feel, Bill, that your current demeanor would lend you to play a very cool Otis. Like an Otis who needs to work, but he's not willing to actually hurt Superman. So he keeps on intentionally screwing up to foil Lex's plans.
So Kyle is Otis?
No, you're Otis.
No,
I'm Otis.
No. Bill is not Otis. Bill is the main villain in the next movie.
He's not the main villain of anything. He might be the main villain of alcohol before anyone else can get to the bar, but he's not like
the first short I made. I was a super villain.
Is he?
He's
not Mr. Sinister. He's barely the Green Goblin. He's not even the Red Goblin.
Who was your first super villain?
Nice Bill? Green Goblin from the 90s.
I was called Death Grip. And I was in an analyst's office because we were having problems with our daughter, and it was funny. It was good. The girl who played my daughter, maybe not so much. I mean, she's a great person, but she couldn't. We ad-libbed everything, and you had to recreate your ad-lib every time, and every time she did something completely different, and so we wound up having to edit it like crazy. And I loved her to death, but she basically she basically was in her probably mid to late 20s at the time, and she was wearing a She-Ra outfit, basically. And it was hilarious. And she was our daughter, but she wanted to be a massage therapist and with her death grip powers. And then I talk her by the end of it, I talk her into being evil like me. And she goes, well, maybe I can heal people, and then the bad ones I can just kind of and I said, that's my girl, And it was so funny because the room we were in was so hot. I had this almost like Kiss makeup on me, and it's when my hair was real long, so I had my hair tied back, and I had this crazy costume I'd put together. And so I bought this costume from the movie Golden Compass a few years ago, and it had many pieces. And it was one of the costumes of the guys that ride the polar bears. And so it had many pieces. It had a huge coat. So I put the huge coat on my friend Gary, and he was my brother Bruno, who was kind of my enforcer. And he forces the daughter to come to the therapy session. And he just goes, like that, and that my friend Gary played that, and he played it very well. And then
he managed I can imagine that was a big part.
It actually, he was a big guy, and he looks kind of menacing, even though he's a pussycat. But and so it was, it went well. I liked it. I like playing a villain. I went over the top, which I normally do anyway in my life. So and villains are over the top. So it seemed to work well.
When you say Kiss makeup, do you mean something like this?
Yes. Oh, that's beautiful.
That's from Kiss versus Mars Attacks.
Oh my God, I love it. I
thought you might.
How do I miss these weird comics? You can blink and miss Kiss versus Mars Attacks. Who knew? You know what I want? I want Kiss versus the Banana Splits versus the Phantom of the Park.
Well, we need to do that.
I mean, if you give Gene Simmons 20 quid, he'll probably do anything for you. That's what I've heard.
Yeah. Well, Gene has ripped off many a friend of mine. My inner bimbo.
I don't doubt it for a second.
When did you put out your own comic, Kyle? Oh, yeah, that's good.
Oh, this is good stuff. Hey, wait, what?
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to call it a week. I appreciate you guys.
Tales of Roller Derby.
I'll see you guys next week. Bye, Mark.
Cheers, guys. Cheers,
Bye,
guys.
Nevs.
All right. Well,
Bye,
I was gonna bring out
Just
something for
off the
Nevs.
wrong
Hold on,
path.
Nevs. I got this box for you.
Oh wow, okay. I'm here. I'm all
I
in.
grabbed this box for you, and the guy is bailed. So
All right,
I
I'm
know
ready.
my Now comics are in here. So there's number 1, the art cover. There's number 2, the photo cover. Yeah, I went and got that box specifically for you, and everybody bailed. So
God bless you, Governor. Pearls before swine. I say it every week, and I'm always right.
let's see. Got a second one of number 2. Look, there's number 3.
Who drew that cover? That cover's amazing. Who did the cover to number 3, Carl?
It looks like a Mad cover. There's not a signature on it. My guess is Tom Richmond because it looks like the interior art too.
Oh, that's amazing! Oh
There's
my God!
the photo cover to 4, but I knew I could come up and find that box pretty quick, and then everybody bailed right when I got comic books. Everybody bailed. So see,
I don't think the two actions are related.
But yeah, I went and grabbed my Now box and my Oni box, and
oh my God, you're gonna have issues of Speed Racer in there, aren't you?
Talking about the original Astro Boy, Ralph Snart.
You killed me with Astro Boy. That's the Ken Stacy Astro Boy, isn't it?
Yeah. Siphons, Terminator Burner. You know the significance to this series, right?
It's the first Alex Ross mainstream comics work.
Yep. That's what that is.
I know my stuff. I know some stuff. I'm better at that than I am Star Wars.
There's Makita, number 1.
Box full of my... Ooh.
Random box of stuff. How about Stray Bullets, number 1?
Stray Bullets is
Murder
amazing.
Me Dead, number 1.
As was Murder Me Dead, yeah. What was the other one? Amy Race Car was the other spin-off from that whole Murder Me Dead.
Beauty Killers, Pilgrim. There's when AC relaunched. Americomics.
I think Ben Herman, he's probably a mutual friend of us.
Volunteer.
Just the AC blueprints.
Somebody's getting these soon because I know there's some FemForce fan out there.
There are certainly FemForce fans out there.
Attack of the Mutant Monsters.
That is a banger. I've got that. It's a fine book.
Bunch of Herbies. They were talking about John Byrne. There's John Byrne's Herbie. Talk about Alan Moore. There's Promethea.
Oh, it's so pretty. H. Williams III, man, should have been more recognized for the hard work he did.
The Miss Fury relaunch. Just a random box. Graham's probably going nuts, ready to go. But there's the Planet of the Apes fold over.
Mm-hmm.
The Ape City book.
Were those? Was that Eternity? Who did the LSL? One of those.
Joe Psycho. My air cell box is over there with Caliber. Let's see. There's continuity and a lot of Neil Adams. Here, you'll appreciate this. Strangers in Paradise.
Awesome. We just got a run of those into the shop this week.
Old Abstract Studios versions of it. More strangers. There
are a lot of strangers in Paradise Comics. Oh, Echo. Yeah, I remember.
There's Goat number 1.
Does it have the goat with it? There was a mail away for an actual goat.
Oh, well, there
not
you
an
go.
actual goat, but like a toy goat that was dressed up. It was like a little PVC model.
There's the relaunch of Trinity Angels.
Oh wow!
There's the original
never seen
Trinity,
that.
of course. My Maguire signed one's over there, but there's Trinity.
I've never seen that other cover before. Was that Joe
Well,
Jesco?
this is the Acclaim relaunch.
Yeah, but who did the cover?
That's the original. That's the one I got that signed by Maguire over there too.
Uh-huh. But that cover you're showing me now, who did that? Is that Mark Beecham?
If I had to make a guess, I'd say that's Julie Bell.
Okay.
That looks like Julie Bell. I don't know. This is just a random side box with some different things in it, but my guess is Julie Bell all day long on that. Doesn't tell. Come on now. Where are we at?
It's all right. It's not the end of the world.
Where's the credits? Well, the credits aren't on the front page.
Hey, dude, I didn't even know there were variants of Trinity Angels, so now I have something new to look up. Don't worry about it.
You would think the credits would be there. They're not there either. Where the hell are the credits to this book? There we go. And it doesn't tell. Oh, calligrapher of virtual. Yeah. Maguire and Panosian. I've got lots of those autographs. I've got Panosian head sketches over there. So there's that. You shouldn't have to look too hard for it. If I've got it, then you can get it.
You're an angel, my friend.
There's
That's
Captain Glory #1, Night Glider #1.
Wait. See, Topps Comics don't get enough credit for giving Jack Kirby his last big
Dracula versus Zorro, the glow-in-the-dark one.
Mm-hmm. With the Frank Miller cover.
Hercules, Lady Rawhide. Oh, I knew it was in here somewhere. Got that. The Topps issue of Mars Attack.
I haven't got that cover, but I've got the one with the gold logo that Wizard gave away as one of their promotional
One
things.
Life.
Hey, that's a Neil Gaiman and P. Craig Russell thing, right?
Yep. All the X-Files countdown books. I got these all autographed too. I got a load of X-Files autographed books. There's one of the X-Files #1s that I have. I have several of those. Several autographs.
God, I remember those things used to, like, you could basically do a show, like do a comic show just on the sale of one of those.
Green Hornet.
Oh, wow.
Kato. Free Jack.
Free Jack, as in the Mick Jagger movie.
Yep.
I did not know there was a comic of that. Okay, that's a new thing to find.
And the giant poster that comes with it. So yeah, that's a tidbit peek in my
That's a hell of a box. Thank you for showing me.
just a random box of tidbitters. I don't even remember what was up front here. I pulled out somebody at Tony's. There's the Voodoo small one.
Is that Scott Morse?
Yeah. My Food and Morse.
Not seen that before. Is that like a variant cover on only double feature or something?
No. It's the first issue of Voodoo. Just a smaller book.
Did not know.
So, yeah, I got boxes of shit like this I never go through. Banana Sunday.
Oh, shit. Is that Rich Tomaso? No.
The Beginning of Kissing Chaos.
Wow. That is a cool cover.
There's Free Speeches.
That has got the Frank Miller speech that he gave out at the Hero Convention 1994, right?
Yep.
Hero Savages was awesome.
Savages #1.
Terry Dodson cover as well.
Mr. Gum #1. Stack of Madman. Of course, I don't have my main Madman in here because I also have.
Have you read that comic? Do you know who the killer is?
I've read him.
You know who the killer is in that, right? The guy who killed Madman.
Yeah, but no, off the top of my head, I'm not going to blurt it out. But yeah,
it's John Byrne.
With it spelled different, right?
Nope.
No, it's not spelled different. Okay.
It's just John Byrne. It's
Sorry.
really savage.
You've seen my You've seen my Madman First Appearance book, right?
Yeah, the creature. Is it Creatures of the Id?
Creatures of the Id, yeah.
Yeah.
I got that sitting with my Crow book. I'm talking to Mark about moving those over his way. But yeah, there's a short stack. I'll go get another box if Graham's still awake and you want to keep going.
I'm gonna call it a night because I have to go to work tomorrow and my painkillers are starting to wear off.
Well, I came up to comic books.
Here going, ow.
Oh, this is soon to change. I'm taking down all the stuff off my walls. I'm putting away all my toys. I'm letting stuff go. Hell, I came up here to pull down my complete William Shakespeare, but never even pulled that down. So,
all right.
I have
America,
that book too,
audience of the show, Kyle, Graham, good night.
But I got a stack of books with your name all over them, buddy. I'll get you a stack of books soon. All right. See you guys. I ain't waiting around, G.